This presentation is made possible by these amazing individuals and organizations. Whether it was through Patreon, Super Chats, Super Stickers, or by watching, liking, and commenting, I really appreciate each and every one of you. Hello, everybody. If you guys can hear me, let me know if you can. I'm having some trouble with technology today, so we shall soon get everything together. I am extremely happy today. My regular intro is usually I'm Retro Nerd Girl broadcasting live from the International Science Fiction Space Station. And just for anyone who this is their first time watching the show, But I see a lot of the regulars in the chat. So thank you guys for being here. I know this is a holiday weekend and there aren't going to be a lot of people live, but definitely I think people will catch this on the replay. So um, my guest today is Lance from the Outcast Creative, but I just noticed that he has mentioned to me that he may have the wrong link. So if you guys can bear with me, I'm gonna try to get him the correct links for the chat. So I guess something must have gone wrong um, in this whole thing. So give me a few moments to set that up. Woo! Technology. Technology. Wow. I have to open up like 3 or 4 different windows, which is really incredible. And also, I just finished eating supper, so it was I just kind of shoved it in there, and maybe that was a little something maybe I shouldn't have done, but hey, you got to eat sometime. And it was delicious too, actually. Um, all right, let's see if I can do this properly and send this to Lance. Let's see if I can get there. Let's try it. Let's try this. Let's try this. Paste. Okay, that looks better. Okay. I wonder what I did wrong. I wonder. There's no way to know. There's no way to know. Um, try that, Lance, and see if it will work. For you. Oh, it looks like it's working. All right. And let's add him to the stage. Hey, Lance.
Hello, I've got the flu and I'm very croaky and poorly.
Oh.
Yeah, so I'm going to stay off camera for the most part today because I'm going to be coughing. And I was sitting in the green room for like half an hour. I was thinking, like, well, where is she gone? What's going
What did
on?
it say at the top of the screen? Did it say like the name of the? Did it say the name of the video at all?
I can't remember, but I mean, I just clicked on the link you sent me. I guess it was maybe for last week or something.
Interesting. I wonder why it didn't do that. Okay.
No
Well,
worries.
I love your avatar picture there. What is it?
That's when I met Daniel and Dobby at a rave. They were pretty out of it. Took a picture of them there. Yeah. There's a really good, if you go onto Google and type in Harry Potter rave AI images, there's a whole load of images that have been created of the cast of Harry Potter at a massive indoor rave.
Cool.
The photograph of Alan Rickman he would have laughed. He would have loved it. So I have picked out some films which I don't think we mentioned.
Okay, well,
Before.
before we get into that, let me just look at the chat. I usually look at the chat beforehand.
No worries. Do your thing.
Oh, sure. First, now I don't have a record of this because it looks like after a certain amount of time, messages delete, and I don't know why. But that's something to do, I think, with YouTube. Because it doesn't seem to be the case with Stream. I'm not sure if it's StreamYard or YouTube, but I think let me just double check to see if it's. Yeah, it looks like it's a YouTube thing. And so Keith East initially sent me 2 messages. I remember seeing one that told me that at um, the last live stream, Unicorn Rampant Studios did give a $7 super chat. So thank you so much, Unicorn.
Woo-hoo!
And even though I did acknowledge it, I am definitely going to give you the formal thank you that I typically do. Here we go. A little dancing in there. And we've got Hungry Jerk. Says hi, Keith. Just saying hi to you. Can't stay until another time. Okay, well, great. Thank you for stopping by, Hungry Jerk. Also, I wanted to say a special thanks to Keith E. For just outstanding friendship and work and everything that you do for me behind the scenes. I really appreciate it. And thank you again for mentioning that about the super chat and everything. That kind of stuff really keeps me on the ball. So thank you so much. And Unicorn Ramp in Studio says, "Hello, Keith. I should acknowledge it at the end of the chat stream. I'll be listening in." Lurking on and off. Matthew McConaughey yells, Murph! I guess 3 times takes you right out of the film. Times in Interstellar. Yes, it is just so crazy how the way he's like Murph. Oh man, and let's see. Keith E says, I'm waiting for my niece to take me to the mountains for the family thing. Again, thanks. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Take care. Be well. Oh, thank you so much. Enjoy yourself while you're there and have a good time. Have a good time with family. And William Blake Hall is here. Says hi, Hungry Keith. Rhinoceros, Pittsburgh in the house. And of course, Outcast Creative is here. And let's see who else showed up. Also, um, William Blake Hall says loud and clear, hailing frequencies retro. The ISFSS is looking fine. And Charlie O'Brien says, I'm due out shopping with my daughter today. Oh, how cool! But I wanted to give support and throw out my personal holiday feel good, which is Scrooge, the musical with Albert Finney. Oh, yes, you know it. I love that movie so much. Thank you for stopping in and giving us your favorite feel good. That's so great. Yeah, I'm always in a super happy mood after I'm done watching that movie. Oh, look, and Bus Stop is here. What?
I think we had to hide that message. I'm not sure
Did
what that.
we do that? Did we? Oh, it just
We
came.
did. We did. Except you just put it up on the screen.
Oh
We
my
did hide
goodness.
it. Yeah.
See, that's the link between YouTube and StreamYard is not working very well. But yes, Bust Up, we are a PG channel or G rated, but not quite. We do.
I'm
It's
sure
on
he
the
meant to
worst
say
word.
completely new. Meant to say completely new. I'm completely new to the channel. I'm sure that's what it was, a typo, probably.
Oh, completely new to the channel.
Well, maybe. Yeah. We're gonna go with that. We're gonna go with that.
Thank you, Lance. You're awesome. And Charlie and Brian, I'll check back later if you're still discussing. Either way, I'll be sure to catch the replay. Thank you so much. Um, uh, thank you. I really appreciate that, Charlie. Let's see. And Lord Toth is here. Hello. How are you? How are you? And let's see. Um, Unicorn says, yes, I took care of that person. I realized what was happening, but my hands full. I was trying to get them off the channel. Oh, okay. Yes. Thank you so much. I do appreciate your work. I, for some reason, I was unable to catch that beforehand. Oh, I need to get better at reading before these things happen. You guys are trying to help me out. Um, and yes. And Lord Top says, I'm good. Hope you are as well. Awesome. I am. I'm doing well. Now, let's see. So you wanted to get right into it, and what we shall. Now, you told me, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 movies that you wanted to talk about.
Is that me or chat?
You.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
This was
Unicorn says LOL
yeah.
fun
This was.
times.
I don't know what you did last week because I was at acting class last week. So,
Do you want to know what we did last week?
yeah, well, I mean, it was still on the feel good vibe, right? Was it?
Yes. Okay, let's see if I can remember what I did. I did Anti-Mame, 1958. Did
Yeah, I wasn't alive when that was out, retro. But
neither was I.
oh, of course not.
But it's still a great film. Let's see, what else did I do? I did I do Enchanted? Oh yes, Enchanted, Splash.
Oh, Splash is a great film.
Isn't it wonderful?
That was Ron Howard's directing debut, I believe.
Oh really? Oh cool.
Yeah, that was the movie he did right before Cocoon.
Wonderful, wonderful. I think did I do I did miscongeniality. Miscongeniality. Gentlemen prefer blondes.
Oh, that's a good choice.
Isn't that good? And
What were the 6 that I said?
okay, let's look at the 6 that you said. Okay.
I've got some.
See if you changed your list.
Well, I've got a few that I thought of today that I've got 4 or 5 here that I've got the vinyl soundtracks for them all.
Okay. And you want us to do like a little show and tell? Is that what it is?
Well, I can. Well, yeah, showing of the soundtracks, not me in my weakened ill state. But let's see. Some of them might be the same ones. Let's have a look. What we got on the list of 6?
Okay, so Breakfast Club.
Oh yeah. Okay, that's an interesting. Yeah, that's a good one to do.
Star Wars, 1977.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we can just say that's an amazingly great film that makes me feel good. How much of a big discussion we need to have about Star Wars?
A big discussion.
A big discussion. Okay, all right.
Yeah. No, we're gonna go until these. Chitty Bang Bang.
Yeah. That's a good one to talk about for a variety of reasons.
City Slickers.
City Slickers. Yeah.
Lord of the Rings trilogy. You said.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And the Truman Show.
Yeah, that's a
so
good
those
one.
are the ones you told me. That
additional ones that I thought of here. Now I think we did. I think we already did Stand By Me, right?
No, we didn't.
Risky Business with Tom Cruise.
Okay, that's one of my. Well, hold on. That's one of mine. Okay, so let's see. Stand By Me.
Well, when you bring it up, I can show the album.
By Me. I'll put a little L by your name. Risky Business.
Yeah, Risky Business, which is a film I'm actually gonna watch again this weekend. I'm gonna do a retro review of it pretty soon.
I was gonna do a retro review.
That's a good excuse for you to come on my channel. Then there we go.
You know what? But what day is it? Well, we'll talk about that afterwards.
Well, I'll try and schedule it so you can make it. I haven't set a date for it yet, but
Risky Business is just one of those movies. I was thinking about it last night. I was like,
well, the reason I thought of it was because of I did a retro review of Better Off Dead, which is one of my favorite John Cusack films, and Curtis Armstrong plays the best friend in that, and he got cast in that role off the back of playing the best friend in Risky Business. And I followed his career since Risky Business, and I forgot what a great job I didn't forget, but it was nice to be reminded what a great job he'd done in Risky Business, where he's talking Joel, Tom Cruise's character, into all kinds of shenanigans. And the other 2 I've got are Footloose.
Come on, that's another one of mine.
Dun, da, dun, da, dun, da, dun, dun, da, da, dun, da, dun,
I
da,
did a
dun.
review of that one.
Um, Kevin Bacon has a really funny story about whenever he goes to weddings and that track comes on, you know. And then another one I've got, which I don't think you will have seen, and most people won't have watched, which might make it interesting to talk about, is I think it came out in, I want to say 88, but it might have been 87. And that's Nothing in Common with Tom Hanks and Jackie Gleason.
Yeah, you're right. I did not see that.
That's a really good film.
It sounds, I mean, Jackie Gleason, what a
It's
talent.
Jackie Gleason's last film, and he knew he was dying when he did it. And Tom Hanks credits Gleason for teaching him, like, you know, kind of almost being like his mentor.
Mhm.
And that was really, I think it was the first time Hanks did a role that had one foot in comedy and one foot in serious acting.
Okay.
And I think Gleason was a big influence in helping him make that leap. Yeah, so those are the other ones I had. So we should be, you know, it's comfortable viewing until 3 a.m. roughly.
Yeah.
Your time.
Oh yeah, yeah. So yeah, we'll do a few and see how it goes tonight, and then look, I was thinking about continuing on. Keithy had a wonderful idea, and maybe like the first Friday of the month we can just continue on, you know, doing feel good movies, um, and give ourselves a chance to talk about other subject matters. But
Yeah,
I've been enjoying this so much.
has been
Just
fun.
yeah, because these first of all, these are great movies, and even like movies that I don't know anything about. I'm learning about these movies, and so there's a teaching element in this that I'm hoping, you know, is beneficial to other people. I will like they'll see something and say, hey, oh wow, I'll try that out this weekend, or I'll take a look at this movie, and I don't know. It's very inspiring. At a time where I think a lot of people are feeling down, and
Yeah,
the world's really wild and crazy right now. It's really great to have the movies, right? At least we have the movies. Um, so
yeah.
what? Which?
I was thinking that, and then I went and saw Napoleon.
Oh boy. Okay, give us a quick breakdown. Like two sentences. What do you think about Napoleon?
Uh I mean, it's it's an epic movie, but it's an epic fail for me.
Oh.
Yeah. But I would like to see the longer cut. Because when Kingdom of Heaven came out, it was a sort of very disjointed movie that didn't have a lot of an emotional impact. And then you thought, oh, that was a shame. And then, you know, the director's cut comes out, however many years later it was. You watch it, it's a completely different movie.
Mhm.
So I'm going to talk about it at length on my Nielsen rating show on
Okay.
Tuesday. So I'll get anyone who wants to hear my full thoughts on it.
Okay.
10 p.m. UK time Tuesday.
Okay, good, 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 good. Okay, so what's the first one you want to talk about?
That's a good question. Did you want to do one of yours first? It's your channel.
Well, let's start off with risky business since we definitely
All
have
right. Oh,
that.
we both had that, didn't we? We both had
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I mean, that's one that's when I was a kid, I was a teenager, I think, at the time, and it was really amazing. Did you want to do the thing? I can do it too. I think I can
I-
go to.
I've got it ready.
Okay, okay.
I,
You're
th- I
faster
think
than I am.
I think it's always nice to kind of talk about um how we first came to see these films. And in my
Yeah.
case, I remember the trailer for Risky Business on the TV.
Okay.
But it was an 18 in the UK, which meant I had no chance of going to see it. I started bunking into 18s from 80 at the end of 83 onwards, actually, but I just didn't think I'd get in. But the turnaround between it going to the cinema and it being released on video, because 83 to 84 to 85 was the period where that distance of time really shrunk. And Risky Business came out real quick on video in the UK. And we were myself and Paul Wilkins, my trusty video buddy, we were the first people to rent it from the video shop when it came in.
Okay.
So we took it straight back. And I mean, it has to be said, I completely fell in love with Rebecca De Mornay in the film.
Oh, come on, who didn't? Who didn't?
Yeah.
She was so cute.
But it's just a really fun movie. It's quite an unusual film in the sense that it's not. I guess it's just about a guy taking some risks for the first time in his life while his parents are away for a long weekend, and those risks take on many forms, and a lot of that's egged on by his friends. It's just a really fun movie. When there's a line where Curtis Armstrong, who plays the best pal, says, "Okay, you've done the dancing around in your underwear, Joel. You're off to a good start. Now it's time to take it to the next level." And he pulls out a magazine and goes, "The Leather Castle." And I'll leave the rest of the description there due to the PG nature of this channel. But yeah, there's a lot of. I'm a really big fan of Bronson Pinchot, who's also in the movie.
Okay. Yes.
Who
there
plays,
he is, right there.
Yeah, and
in the brown shirt.
There's a really funny scene where they're trying to have a serious discussion, and something's going on upstairs that's distracting them, and that scene is played really well. It's hilarious. I think the film has aged really well. This film could quite easily work. The same script, you could set this film now.
Okay.
And you might have a couple of things with texts and stuff and mobile phones, but it would work. It would work now. Look at the old-fashioned Coke on the table there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this is great stuff. I mean, I remember watching it. There's one spicy scene in the story Train, which I thought when I was little, I was like, "What is happening here?" But there was so much. There was so
no
much.
comment.
Yeah. There was so much electricity or chemistry that was between Tom and Rebecca De Mornay.
Yeah.
It was just incredible. And as well, you felt bad for her. She was in a bad situation, but it's like she wasn't like a sweet girl. She, so, she was a little bit not necessarily like the character that you would say would be the a sort of a protagonist or hero type, but she did have a special something. I can't put it. There was a special fire that she had. It wasn't like every other girl. There was a certain amount of like moxie that she had, but also she was in trouble. She was in big trouble. She was way over her head with her pimp boyfriend guy.
Joe Pantoliano plays that role. I think I mispronounced.
He's so good at being a jerk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you know the first line of this movie and the first line of the Avatar movie are exactly the same?
Oh, really?
Yeah, because the opening line of both films is "The dream is always the same," I believe.
Okay. I did not know that.
Yeah, because it starts off with him having this dream. And I'm sure the opening line, someone in chat will correct me if I'm wrong, but and again, I'm watching the film for the first time in a long time. In a Day After Tomorrow. This film was also one of the first ones that sat proudly in my VHS collection. I had an old Warner
Okay.
Brothers clamshell copy. I bought it off the video store
Mm-hmm.
when the film was like 2 years old. You know, they sold it to me for £10 or whatever. I can remember all sort of like all 5 of the first movies I had in their own cases, which was this one, The Sword and the Sorcerer,
Oh, cool.
the Eagle Has Landed. I ended up with a Betamax copy of Amityville 2 that I was never able to watch, but for some reason I ended up with this Betamax tape. Yeah, riding trains is crazy. That's a line in the movie. I mean, it's a great film, and you could see in this Tom Cruise was already on his way. This was the film that made me follow his career. Actually, you know, after this, that was it.
Yeah, this was I would say his make or break moment. If this didn't work for him, it was probably going to be hard for him to come back from it. This is what really took him to the next level, became a real heartthrob with the ladies. I believe at
Yeah,
this point, earlier movies, he had some dental issues, and he had that fixed for this movie. Um, and that really helped enhance the fact that he was so good looking, and he just was a star on camera. And that of course, that underwear dancing scene was so iconic that it became something that was memed before memes were even a
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
And so it just has that ability to put a smile on your face. That it's just wonderful, just wonderful. Um,
So this is written and directed by Paul. Oh, we'll skip on.
oh boy.
Oh. Okay,
Yeah, there we
sorry,
go.
PG Channel. This is written and directed by Paul Brickman. I'll continue. What's interesting about Paul Brickman is he's only written 8 movies. He's only directed 3. He directed this and Men Don't Leave in 1990, and he did a short in 2012. But he wrote one of my favorite sort of TV miniseries of all time, which is it's not a feel good thing, but it's called Uprising, and it's a
Okay.
2-part or 3-hour movie. You can get it on DVD. It's probably one of David Schwimmer's best roles outside of Band of Brothers. And it's about the uprising in the Jewish ghetto in Warsaw in Poland in 1943. Very, very, very good film. But he just wrote that. He didn't direct it. So it's interesting that he had a relatively, quite a small career. He's still alive, I believe. But one of the other things that's really great about the movie is not just the cast, it's the way it's shot.
Mm,
And I don't know the story behind this, but it has 2 DOPs. So I'm gonna suggest that either there were 2 units or one took over from the other at some point.
okay.
Um, one of them was Ronaldo Villalobos, who was DOP on The Running Man.
Okay.
And he's got 68 other credits, loads of films you would have heard of, and a few episodes of Breaking Bad and that kind of thing. And the other one is Bruce Surtees. But the shots look. There's something about the way the way the film is shot that puts it in a completely different league to similar kind of coming of age comedies or other comedies that kind of were out around that time. Revenge of the Nerds, Bachelor Party, and
Yeah.
both great films in their own right.
Yes.
Cool. So yeah, but oh no, let's skip past the kissy bits. But yeah, Bruce Surtees died in 2012, but he also shot Beverly Hills Cop, and he did a number of Clint Eastwood movies. So you've got people behind the camera who have done very big, epic, cinematic looking films, and there is something about the way Risky Business is shot
Hmm.
that gives it quite a cinematic look, which is unusual for a film of this type. And I think that's another thing that it just puts it in a level above others. Of course, the music is good.
Oh, yes.
You got the cool car, you know.
Yes.
And I really like the scene with the guy from Princeton at the end, where he comes to interview Joel about getting in, and of course Joel's got this whole business thing going on in the house with
Yeah.
ladies of the night, shall we say? And you've got actors like Jason Gedrick is an extra at that party. You know, Mr. Iron Eagle himself. Sean Penn has an uncredited cameo as a guest at that party because I think he was friends with Tom even then. Anne Lockhart is in that. So, but the guy who's the bloke from Princeton is an actor that I really rate. I'm just trying to remember his name, but he does a lot of roles like that, and he's really good.
Oh, cool. Yeah. He's, one thing I have to say about this, I always link somehow this movie and a Weird Science together because of the whole like party, parents are away for the weekend and then there's this big party and they're trying to like, there's this big hoofaloof about trying to get everything back to normal by the time their parents get home.
Well, that's because also everything gets stolen from the house by
Yes,
by the pimp.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
the artsy fartsy thing, the egg. Remember that?
Oh, yeah, the egg. I mean, there and wasn't there?
And the
Yeah,
mother at the end, she's like, "There's a crack in my egg, Joel. There's a crack in my egg," and he just didn't notice that the egg got cracked, and so he never managed to get it put back together quite perfectly. But his dad doesn't care.
Yeah, I mean, what a great film! A lot of fun. I have got to see it again to get back into it. I definitely, it's one of my favorites, and I
Well,
do
I
love
think
the relationship between the two main actors there. It's just really great.
yeah. And Tom's so young, man. I mean,
Oh
God,
yeah,
look at him. So
he is
young.
so young. Yeah.
Checking his spots out there. I still do that. I mean, she looks so great. She still looks pretty good.
Oh yeah, she's wonderful. Yeah,
You
she
know,
does look really great even today.
Rebecca, I'm single, so if you're available to date, let's do lunch. Yeah, this scene was fantastic. With actually very early example of a trans character in a early 80s film. You didn't get many back then. And this is Curtis Armstrong's character accidentally orders this individual for Joel, who turns
Oh
up.
yeah, I remember.
It's him that says, "I'm going to give you a number. This woman's what you want," and that's how he gets hooked up with Rebecca De Mornay's character.
Ah.
Yeah. There's Curtis Armstrong. Oh man, I'm trying to get Curtis on my channel for an interview at the moment. So I really rate him, but it's interesting to know that before he did this movie, he was mainly a stage actor, and his
Really?
his vision for his career was to be like an Olivier, to do very serious stage plays,
Oh wow.
Shakespeare, that kind of thing. And he does still do a lot of theatre work, but of course, on cinema, he's just known for playing these kind of quirky.
Revenge of the Nerds. That's
Yeah,
where I mostly remember him for. But yeah, I forgot that he was in this movie actually.
he's a lovely guy by all accounts. Yeah, Richard Mazur, William Blake Hall. Thank you. Richard Mazur is the Princeton guy. He was in the TV series Transparent, playing Fuzzy, who's sponging off the mother in that show. Yeah, so. Oh dear, excuse me. I'll try and mute myself when I cough.
Oh, you're fine. We understand that. We appreciate you still hanging out with us even though you're sick.
I really like these two actors who play the parents.
Okay. Yeah,
Um,
it's been a while since I've seen these two.
this is one of the many scenes where they talk straight to camera. You know, and this is when they're about to go to the airport, get their flight to do whatever they're doing, and the mother's like, "Now remember, Joel," and she's kind of giving him a list of rules, and then as soon as they've gone, it cuts to, you know, da-na-na-na-na, and the car's like being rolling out the. And I think isn't there a scene where they like draw up against the lights and some, you know, as we would call them in the UK, yobs are in a car. Whoa, yeah, we're gonna race you, and Bronson Pincott just like goes, hit it, and they're, you know, and their car's like, it's because it's a racing car, really. Yeah, it's a great film.
Yeah, it's been too long. I definitely need to bone up on my risky business.
Actually,
But it sounds reasonable.
William Blake Hall's mentioned another film I want to do an in-depth review about, which is By Dawn's Early Light. That's a great Cold War made-for-TV movie that's almost like a stage play. It's all set on I think it's a B-1 bomber, or whichever one carried the nuclear weapons. I forget. Anyway, B-11 or whatever. But aviation, military, not my specialty. But it's a great film. It's a good film. Shall we move on to another one?
Yeah, let's move on. Let's do one that's definitely yours that I don't know anything about.
Oh, should we do nothing in common then?
Huh? Nothing in common. Let's do that one.
Well, this is an interesting movie for me, which I saw at the Warner Brothers West End. Came out in '86. That's right. And I remember that I saw it on my own because I think me and my then girlfriend had an argument. And you know, high school young love is always fraught with drama. So the story to the film is this: Tom Hanks's character is a sort of go-getting, you know, the next protege at this advertising company, and the advertising company gets a very big contract for one of America's favorite airlines, but it's a family-run business, and the guy wants something very specific for the ad campaign. He has a daughter who is played by Celia Ward, who's in the picture with Tom Hanks there. Tom Hanks is in a relationship with none other than Darlene Fugel from Battle Beyond the Stars, which is a reason to watch the film on its own, and how sad that she died, I think, last year. Still quite young. His boss is played by the wonderful Hector Alonso. That is the boss of the hotel in Pretty Woman. I'm the hotel manager, sir. Absolutely love that actor. He's another one I really want to interview, and he's getting on, so I need to try and make that happen pretty soon. And it really sort of revolves around the complicated relationship that Hanks's character, who's called David Bassner, has with his parents. And his parents are played by the wonderful Jackie Gleason. There he is in his last movie role. And his dad was in a sort of, when he was young, he was a very, very successful salesman of a kids' clothing line. But now he's kind of past his prime. So he's almost like playing the character from Death of a Salesman, which I believe Jackie Gleason had played that character on stage. There's a line in the film where Hanks is talking to his love interest, and this kind of sums up the plot, which is, he says, "Yeah, I had this kind of plan for life, which was that you know, my parents were going to bring me up. I was going to get a successful job, and then I was going to get married and be happy, and they were going to get old and they were going to die." And he says that all in one line, like sort of really fast in a very kind of matter of fact way. This is Des Darlene Fugel, plays his love interest. This is the first role for Hanks in his career where he's not just playing a funny guy. He is still doing some of those early things he did for comedy, but it's a really, really beautiful movie. His girlfriend plays a drama teacher. They sort of they kind of have an on-off relationship. Then he gets involved with Celia Ward's character. His mother, by the way, is played by the wonderful Eva Marie Saint. She's a very, very famous American actress. She is still alive, if you can believe that. And she was in On the Waterfront with Marlon Brando. She was the female lead in On the Waterfront. So there was probably going to be a photo of her, I would think. There she is on the left. You can't really see her properly in that picture, though. So there she is. So I mean, so he's not exactly estranged from his parents, but he's sort of so focused on his career that he's kind of, just stopped having regular contact with them, which is something that happens to a lot of us in our 30s and 40s as we get involved in our own stuff. So it's a film about somebody reconnecting with his parents before it's too late. He realizes his father's very ill, which in real life Jackie Gleason was dying. So the film has this kind of power in that context. It's also very, very funny, and all the supporting characters in the film, particularly Hector Alonso as his really well-meaning boss at the advertising agency, who's losing his hair, and he's trying to do all kinds of things to stop it from, like wigs. At one point he jumps in the swimming pool with his wig on, and he gets out the pool and says to David, Tom Hanks's character, so how's my hair looking? And David says, well, I don't know, but it's floating over there about 10 feet away. And he realizes it's come off in the swimming pool. There's a great scene where they do there's Hector Alonso, and he's great in this movie. He's great in everything he's in.
Yes, he is.
I've never seen him turn in a bad performance in his whole career. Yeah. I really love him as the father in the Matt Dillon film, The Flamingo Kid, which could definitely be another feel-good movie. Bronson Pincott's in that. That's Barry Corbin, who I think we just lost him, but he's the general in the movie War Games with Matthew Broderick. So he plays Celia Ward's dad, and he's the head chairman of the airline company that they're doing the ad campaign for. There's this really funny scene where they do a montage of proposed ad campaigns with all the people on his team, Tom Hanks's team, acting out the parts in the commercials. And you can tell that a lot of that was just improvised with the actors having fun, but it's really good. And I've got the vinyl soundtrack to this, which has a couple of fantastic songs in it. One by the Thompson Twins, the main Nothing in Common song. And the later scenes with Hanks and Gleason are really, really moving. And Hanks credits Gleason with being the man who turned him from a comic actor to a serious actor. And he said he is the guy who very much bridged that transition for him. So I highly recommend it. Most people won't have seen it. But I just think it's a great film. It'll make you laugh, it will make you cry. But it's a really good movie. And again, I had a pretty good relationship with my dad. It's directed by Gary Marshall, by the way. So 3 people wrote the script, but I think the script for it's pretty good. But yeah, so that's my choice. Gary Marshall, he directed a number of other massive hits that you would have heard of, like, he did all those Valentine's Day, Runaway Bride, Princess Diaries, Frankie and Johnny, Pretty Woman, Beaches, the Flamingo Kid. So
Wow.
he worked with Hector Alonso a lot. He directed an episode of Mork and Mindy. So yeah, there you
Cool.
go. So that's my one.
All right. We're in the 80s.
Yeah,
I'm
this
trying
is
to-
Retro Nerd Girls channel, isn't it?
Yes, it is. There is a that. And should we stay in the 80s or should we migrate?
I think I gave you some other choices which are in the 90s.
Mhm.
Well, William Blake Hall, yeah, reminding me even Marie Saint was also in North by Northwest. Of course she was, yeah.
Mhm. Um,
I agree, Lord Thoth. I 100% agree.
am I not seeing that? Let's see. What did we say? Oh, about Rebecca was
Yeah, no, you
so
put
hot.
that up. You put that up already. I was just chiming in retroactively.
Okay. Let's see. So that was your pick. Okay, then I get to pick one, right? So why don't I go with um
Here, I'll put the album up quickly. Here it is.
oh,
There's the
nothing in common. Okay.
final soundtrack. And you can have a look at the tracks on there. Or retros. Deciding.
Oh, why don't I I'll blow you up here.
Oh,
That's better. See?
I thought you meant like with Dynamite in a sort of Bugs Bunny type fashion. Yeah,
I
there's Carly Simon's song, by the way, on this soundtrack, If It Wasn't Love at All.
mhm.
Find that on YouTube and play it. Man, I mean, that's not a good song to listen to when you've just broken up from your girlfriend.
Ah.
But yeah. I got
Well,
that album quite a bit later. After I'd seen the movie. You can make me tiny again now.
okay.
Greetings, chat. I'm currently filling the space at the
There
scientific
we go.
station.
No, okay, I'll say let's stay in the 80s then.
All right.
And I mentioned this one earlier, Weird Science.
Weird Science. Yeah, not to be confused with My Science Project.
Yes, which I'm not sure if I saw that one.
I think you have. It's the one with Dennis Hopper, where they open a dimensional portal in their high school and like lots of different creatures from different times. John Stockwell, Raphael Savage. No,
Never saw it.
you would absolutely love that film,
Okay.
and I have to say I think it's better than Weird Science. But they came out around the same time.
That is sacrilege. Okay, I'm sorry. I cannot allow this.
Yeah, it's true. They came out around the same time, and My Science Project got bumped straight to video in the UK, and I think it was a clash of marketing, and people went to see one and not the other, and one was about Kelly LeBrock coming out of your computer, so I think most guys voted for that one.
Come on, that's a no-brainer. So, all right. So, did you want me to pull it, or did you want?
No, I'll get it. Sorry.
Continue to do the.
Wasn't she Mrs. Steven Seagal at one point?
Yes, at one point she did get married to Steven Seagal.
Right.
She's still
and yet she survived.
She's still pretty good looking. I think she's gorgeous.
Oh, hang on. Sorry, I accidentally pulled up My Science Project. God, how dare it have a rating of 5.9 on IMDb? That's disgraceful.
Really? Wow.
No, hang on. So Weird Science has got a rating of 6.6, not much higher.
Yeah.
Great poster. Oh yeah, this was one of Bill Paxton's first acting breaks.
Yeah, well, he was actually featured and got a chance to really show off a little bit that he's funny. Whereas before then he was just doing small little parts. When Blake Hall says Kelly LeBrock appeared in the Steven Seagal movie Hard to Kill.
Yeah, how could we forget her screaming Mason every 5 minutes as machine gun fire impacted all around them. Yeah, I was working at the cinema when that was on, so I had to hear that drum many times.
Thank you for doing this. Yes.
This is Elan Mitchell-Smith, I believe.
Okay. Yeah, he was the darling in the story. Felt really.
I think he's quit acting now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then Michael Anthony Hall, I think, is on the right. He was also in The Breakfast Club.
Yes, wonderful. He has had a very long, lustrous career in show business.
There's Bill Paxton.
Bill Paxton, yes.
Bill Paxton didn't work for about a year and a bit after, because this movie was shot in 84, released in 85. And his next job after this was Aliens.
Oh, wow.
Because
So
he actually
that was
moved.
big.
Yeah, he moved to London to see if he could get any work in London, and he just happened to be there when they did the casting for it. And I think he'd just come out of the audition or had just been told he'd got the part when he bumped into his future wife on a double-decker red bus in London. Was in a good mood, saw a pretty woman and decided to take a risk. Now look at that. That's a very young Robert Downey Jr.
Yes, very young in this movie.
Yeah,
he's a stinker.
They play the villains.
Yeah, I had a crush on this guy here. What's his name?
You're gonna say maybe Robert Russler on the left. Second, I mean in the middle.
Robert Russler.
Robert Russler was a fighter pilot in Babylon 5. That's one of the more recent things he did. I believe he is still acting. Yeah, but they kind of played because don't they pour like sort of milkshakes over them in a
Oh, it was so awful. I was so mad when they did that. I was like, come on. But they kept on being those really awful bullies that wanted to just didn't give up, just had to keep on messing with them. And when I even it was kind of cute at first, but even Kelly LeBrock's character gets upset and frustrated with the fact that there was always this sort of acquiescing to these two idiots. They were like, why are you trying to create a girl for them too? So it was kind of funny. I felt the frustration. I thought it was really well written, even though it was it gets kind of circusy at some point, where we've got so many characters and so many wild things that are going on. But it was still satisfying. I think if you are the kind of person who loves like a good fantasy in sort of your reality mixed, it was really good in that thing. And look, we had a a discussion about AI, and I thought that all these years I wasn't really considering Lisa uh, as a robot, but I guess she is a creation of a robot creature kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, she's a creation of movie science fiction techno bollocks.
Yeah. I thought she was magical when I was kid, but yeah, that is exactly, I guess, what she is, like some sort of AI wizard. And
the funny thing is that you watch this film then, and it seemed utterly ridiculous.
Oh yeah,
but the strange thing is now with these AI and robots in Japan, and robots for certain things that are being invented in Japan, keeping in mind this is a PG channel, we're not actually this far away from this becoming a reality now. I mean, it sounds crazy to say that out loud, but it's true.
Yeah. The thing is that I mean, well, I guess the special feature with her is that she can create anything that she wanted. She can create people. I mean, because all those biker dudes, they were all part of her creation. She could do just about anything, and I suppose in the future we may be able to interact with this kind of real reality type VR world, if
Yeah.
you will. Um, One thing I did see like earlier, like some last night. I was gonna say this morning, but some I would consider that last night. Was a video. It looked like a girl was reading a script, but she looked like a real person. And then it dawned on me. I was like, that is definitely a robot.
Damn.
I was like, that's definitely a robot. For one thing, she never moved her arms. Her arms was always pretty still. Oh, this is a funny
Yeah, I
the
remember that.
ID. Oh, that's just hilarious.
Like someone's just drawn like a pencil thin moustache and beard on his ID to make him look older. Um, the cinematographer on this film was Matthew Linetti.
Mhm.
Now, again, the exterior stuff, the stuff that's shot outside of the studios, in this film. And there's not a lot of it, but there are some scenes where they're driving around at night and that kind of thing. Looks very cinematic, and the reason for that is this is the same guy that shot Strange Days,
Okay.
which has a lot of neon and very kind of cyberpunk looking movie. He also shot Star Trek First Contact, Star Trek Insurrection.
Okay.
One of my favorite character actors, who again is still alive, is in this shot here, and that's John Capellos, the guy with the hat.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You might recognize him from the movie Roxanne with Steve Martin, where he's got the big nose in the town, the remake of Cyrano de Bergerac, which is a very cute 80s
I did
movie.
not see it.
It's a fun rom-com. He plays like the guy. He's the fireman in town that's always trying to sleep with the ladies and failing.
Hmm.
Um, this is what I mean about the cinematography. You can see in this shot,
Yeah,
this is very
beautiful.
kind of Strange Days, make the neon colors pop.
Hmm.
That's very much the style of this guy. This is the scene where Michael Anthony
Oh
Hall is
yes, 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 yes.
kind of stoned, right? And he's talking and his voice is all weird.
Yeah,
Um,
I heard that was all improv.
yeah, I can believe that.
Yeah,
I think
very cool.
a lot of Bill Paxton's stuff was improv.
Oh, he
Um,
was wonderful.
he's great in it.
Yeah.
Great.
It I mean, he plays a despicable character,
Yeah,
but enough to you know when the bad stuff happens to him, you're like, good for him. Or sort of.
so
But that's when like that's a good character. You want them, uh you feel vindicated when they get their comeuppance. And
yeah,
it was just he really just did his thing. He said, the spotlight is on me. I'm about to just take over, and he really did. He stole every scene he was in,
yeah, for sure.
every single scene.
So
Um,
this
and that
picture,
never let up. That never let up, no matter what movie he was in.
I got a funny story about this picture because
Okay.
I saw this at the cinema, and when it cut to this shot, I just said to my friend, because I didn't understand what I was seeing. I was probably about 14 at the time. I said, why have they all got tea cozies on their heads?
Tea
And they're not
cozies.
tea cozies, they're bras. Tea cozy is a thing you would put over a kettle,
Okay.
keep a kettle warm. And
Okay.
they kind of looked a bit like that in the UK. My mum had this old one. And I just saw them and I was like, why are they all wearing tea cozies on their heads? And it's one of those comments that came out a lot louder than you intended. Anyway, yeah. And my friend was like, they're bras. They're bras. Don't say anything else.
And
And
they would have to be, his mom's bras because, which makes it even grosser. Uh, yeah, they're the grandparents show up.
Don't they get sort of frozen?
Yeah, they're frozen in
Because
time.
they're kind of like frozen like this at one point in and Michael Berryman turns up in it
Yeah, yeah.
as one of the kind of crazy, and Vernon Wells
Yes, Vernon Wells as well.
basically playing his character from Mad Max.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Big
Yeah.
fan. And yeah, just a great moment in the story where it's totally fantasy, but it's also a moment that was meant to help the boys, gain some
Kudos.
credibility.
Yeah.
Yeah, not only just amongst their friends, but also for them to step up and be leaders and finally like stand up to the bullies because they weren't doing it. They were just,
Yeah.
as I was saying, acquiescing to everything else everybody else wanted.
Did this actress do much more? I think I saw her in one other role, but I might be mistaking her.
Was she in Bill and Ted's Excellent?
No,
No, maybe.
That's Diane Franklin.
Yeah, yeah. I
Um,
don't remember her in other material.
I think she's Judy. Yeah, she's Judy Aronson.
Okay.
She was in American Warrior, Canon. Beverly Hills 90210, 3 episodes. I was an avid watcher of that. I have to say that.
Really?
I did. Yeah, I was an avid watcher of that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I must have seen like one or two episodes, and I like overheard, oh, the twins, and I looked at it, I was like, oh, who are the twins? And they don't look anything like each other, and I was like, I'm out.
Oh, that was yeah, yeah, Jason, what's his name, and
Yeah, I was like,
Shannon Doherty, and
these are
yeah,
twins. I'm like, no, you guys, I'm out of here. And then, yeah, but I'm sure it was good because a lot of people were tuning in.
it was just one of those shows that was I think there were 3 of them that were scheduled in a row. It was that, Baywatch, and something else. And if I happened to be in, I would watch all 3 of them.
Oh,
But once I hit kind of like 17, I was out of there. I was not in on Saturday night anymore. Yeah, this was a good film. I guess we should say something about the plot for anyone who's never seen it. It's about 2 teenage high school kids, written, directed by John Hughes of Ferris Bueller's Day Off fame, who use their scientific knowledge to build the ultimate girlfriend. This is my favorite part in the movie.
Me too. Yeah, this was great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I actually might steal that for my avatar.
No, don't do it.
My teeth look pretty similar. That's a pretty good representation of my teeth.
You gotta put we gotta work on your avatar. Which one is it gonna be?
Yeah, maybe this one, because that way I get to show off my body in this one.
Shut
up. Self-depreciating humor is the best.
No, it's not. It's like, what's going on?
This guy's been in loads of other things.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And sorry, Mr. This Guy, let me refer to you by your actual name if I can. I just know I've seen him in many other roles. Somebody in chat. It's Demitch. Is it Demitch Davis? I think it's Demitch Davis. Yeah, I believe it's Demitch.
It should be under that little circle right there. Should bring up his name.
Yeah, there we go. Demitch Davis. I was right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been a jobbing actor for a really long time. I remember this was the shot where, hey, if you look in this shot, you can see John Hughes is in this shot.
Is that him all the way in the back?
Yeah.
Tall guy.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah, that was when everybody appeared outside there. So Robert Downey Jr. was, if if you see him in his really young roles before he had his struggles, there's something really quite innocent and charming about him. He played the
Oh.
best friend in Tough Turf with James Spader,
Hmm.
and I really love that movie.
Speaking of James Spader was just amazing since the very very beginning. He just he had such acting chops just from just go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to remember what the first thing was that I saw him in, and I want to say it was Pretty in Pink. But I think Tough Turf came out before Pretty in Pink, but I think it didn't get released, didn't get a big cinema release. So I probably saw it on video after Pretty in Pink. Yeah, that's Judy Aronson. These are the female love interest.
Oh yeah.
Suzanne Snyder on the right there. Anyway, they make the girl of their dreams. The girl of their dreams is played by Kelly LeBrock. She also not only is there she is, a very attractive lady. She doesn't come with Steven Seagal at this stage, which is good. No free Steven Seagal karate chopping figure included.
Are you kidding? Are you? I love those two together when when it was working. I know
Well, when it was,
relationships can't
yeah,
go always last forever, but yeah,
we could do
they were a hot couple.
we could do an interesting stream about Seagal movies of late, but yeah, I mean, she's very much a kind of 80s. She was the epitome of what was deemed to be hot
Well,
back then.
she did that movie Woman in Red, right? With
Yeah,
Gene
with
Wilder.
Gene Wilder
It was
and
wonderful. Like that movie
Radner. Yeah,
was really really well put together and set up the how much of a hottie she was. It was really great.
yeah,
And kind of put her in this role of like the temptress, uh, you know, woman. But I also think this was a charming way to use her beauty and also make her sort of she's sort of a perfect too perfect of a character, but
yeah,
the fact that she is teaching the boys something and she's not always getting it right though. Like they still have to fumble their way through what she's trying to teach them, which is more chutzpah so they can get girlfriends. If they could get a real girl instead of having to make
yeah, yeah.
one.
Who in chat had one of these?
What, floppy disk?
The calculator watch.
Oh,
The,
yes, of course you had to
these
have it.
were deemed to be so cool
Yeah.
when they came out. I remember when digital watches were a thing. People would turn up with one at school
Oh
and
yeah.
they'd go, "Hey, check out my digital watch. Do you know that it's got 16 functions?" And you'd be like, "What do you mean 16 functions?" Well, yeah, it's got a timer, it's got a it's got a stopwatch, and then it does this other thing, and I'm like sort of waiting for them to tell me it's got a laser that can cut through cars, but that was never mentioned. But I remember someone came to school with one like this that was bigger than that. This has got 102 functions, and I'm like, I bet sort of like 98 of those functions involve the calculator, and the rest of them are all to do with telling time, possibly. It's not going to be able to fly you into outer space. But it just the whole digital watch became a really big thing at school. I'll never
Oh
forget
yeah.
that.
Well, I mean, I don't. At one point, you couldn't even get regular, watches because they were the they had the plain ones where it was just a digital watch, and you can get those. Those were like super cheap, black uh like a rubber band and a like a real plasticky. You can get them any color. But then there were the ones like that where it was like you could do computations.
Yeah,
It's like what the and yeah, they could do extraordinary things back there then. And even today they still really have a lot of digital watches, but they're more geared to be more like compatible with your phone and all that stuff. I haven't. I don't think I was ever into watches, but I think I did have like just a plain digital watch that was like a buck or something that they were mass producing at some point. Those were great. Uh, it's really wild because that's something we don't have anymore. It's just a plain digital watch with just the time on it. Like that's not like the common thing like it was in this particular time. Just wild memories there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a pretty
But
it's a pretty
when they first came out, it was the rage. It was the rage. Like, oh, a digital watch. Do you want to know what time it is? I've got
yeah.
the time.
I, I'm going to tell you the time, except I'm going to tell it to you digitally. So that was Weird Science, not to be
Mhm.
confused with My Science Project, which is also very good,
Yes.
and came out around the same time.
Now the only critique I would really have personally with Weird Science is maybe it's a smidge too long. But they go through so much. It's an odyssey of events that have happened during this movie. And I really adore it for that. Oh, it's just great.
I mean, I haven't
Okay.
seen it in about 10 years, but I don't ever recall thinking, oh, this is a bit of a chore. But yeah,
No,
maybe
no,
if I
no,
was
no. Yeah,
watching
it
it now,
was.
I might think that.
Yeah, I don't say that it was a chore necessarily, but it just was like, wow, more stuff is happening to these poor boys.
Yeah, yeah. There is kind of like sort of almost like isn't there like sort of almost two endings? There's sort of one bit you think it's going to end, and then there's another 10 or 15 minutes, if I remember rightly.
Oh,
Yeah.
what was
It's just there's one climactic set piece, but then there's another set piece that comes after that, if I remember rightly. Because you got the guys coming into the party. But then isn't
Yes.
there, there's one other climactic thing that happens. Is it maybe a car chase of some sort?
No, they try to make another girl.
Oh, I can't remember. It's been
Yeah,
so
and
long.
then they really mess up the house. There's like a
Yeah,
nuke
that's it.
that comes to the roof and everything.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
wild. I'm like, what?
And everything's like destroyed and
And then
yeah.
yeah, and then sort of like the fixing of all of that too. That was another set piece that kind of happened. And what a great story. It's fun. That was fun. Um, and William Blake Hall says, "I'm too old. I remember slide rules.
Oh
What
yeah.
the heck are those?"
That's well, it's a ruler with where you've got a thing that slides along it for measuring.
Oh, yeah, I
Um,
remember those.
did they have inkwells in the desks, William, as well? Back in your, I went to a private school.
I remember those.
Yeah, I went to a private school from the age of like I don't know about 5 until I was maybe 9, and the desks in the school were so old, right? This is how stingy the school was, and it was a private school. None of the desks in the classroom matched. They were all from different time periods, but the one thing that they all had in common was that they all had inkwells
Ugh.
in them. And I'm thinking, like, were these originally in the school when people were writing with a quill? You know, how long have they had these? And then you had the slightly more modern desks that had the inkwell with the slidey bit of metal that went over the top that you could slide it shut. And people were always playing with those in the lesson and could result in the board rubber being thrown at you by Mr. Honey, you know, which was a traumatic event for many a child in my class. But yeah, those were the days. Fun times. Let's move on to our next choice
Inkwells.
on that note.
Well, Unicorn Studio says that the slide rules were for calculation algorithms. So yeah, I didn't use them, but I saw them. Yeah, and there were some really wild things that they had attached to some rulers. Uh,
Also
that
used
I
for
never used.
measuring unicorn horns.
Oh, okay. And William Blake Hall says, I cheered when a slide rule appeared for half a second in the movie Apollo 13. I thought slide rules got us to the moon. Did they?
I've no idea.
And logarithms. I don't know what logarithms are. Not algorithms, but logarithms. Oh, logarithms. I don't know why I'm saying that I don't know what they are. Yes, yes. Just remember school. Remember school when you had to go to school.
Just remember the lessons. So
Remember the lesson.
what? Oh, are you still doing chat?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Are you ready to move on?
Well, when you are, but no, just
Okay.
take your time,
Well,
take your time.
Unicorn says, LOL, yes, for comic sections like a unicorn horn. He's agreeing. Yeah, so what do you got going on here? You've got some ideas of what you want to talk about next?
Let me let's review the list of the ones I've got. Stand By Me and Footloose still here. Let's not do those yet. But you read out some others earlier. Refresh my memory that I
Okay,
mentioned.
well, we've got Breakfast Club. Do you want to do Breakfast Club? Because that's kind of coinciding with this sort of like
I mean,
80s.
we can probably do that one quite quickly. It's an iconic film.
Why do you want to do it quickly?
I think tonally, I mean, it's a John Hughes movie.
Oh.
Well, we don't have to do it quickly. But man, I mean, it's. I think if I remember right, it's a 7-hander.
Did you want to try one of the other ones? Let's go through the rest of the list. Star Wars, Chitty Bang Bang, City Slickers, Lord of the Rings trilogy, Truman Show. Those are the ones that you mentioned to me.
Right. Yeah. So let's do Breakfast Club because I've got it up now. I've got the screen up. I mean, Breakfast Club, for anyone who hasn't seen it, it's really a stage play, and it's been staged on at the theatre many times. A lot of schools do it as a. Just gonna scroll up so we don't get the video running.
Thank you.
Again, we've got Anthony Michael Hall. Sorry, I called him Michael Anthony Hall earlier. Anthony Michael Hall, in one of his most iconic roles. I think it's probably still one of his most.
Oh yeah, when he puts on the glasses, he's like,
yeah,
it's great. It's great.
So the premise of the movie is that you have 5 kids in detention on I think it's on a Saturday. And they're in detention for the day. They get to spend Saturday daytime at the school.
Yeah.
The 5 kids from right to left are a nerd who is extremely brainy, but basically is a geek and is often.
He's a geek, yeah. I wouldn't call him a nerd.
He's often bullied. You have the prom queen.
Yes.
Character who's super popular and pretty and so on, but is actually quite underneath that is quite a tortured person. You have the kind of shy, sort of slightly quirky girl,
outsider.
Underneath is really retro nerd girl in disguise.
That's exactly me in high school. That was me.
You know what? I knew it.
Yeah.
Then
I wore black all the time.
We have the jock who is under sort of unrelenting pressure from his dad. By the way, check out the actor who plays Emilio Estevez's father in this film when he drops him off and picks him up at the beginning and end of the movie. You'll recognize that actor. He's a very well-known character actor and has played kind of rough Irish barman and sort of violent fathers in lots of movies. And then you have the kind of the one who's almost in a class of his own. He's sort of he's the rebel, the loner, the one who's sort of one step away from becoming a drug dealer, who comes
Yeah.
from an abusive home,
Oh.
finds it difficult to form friendships at school, but is also extremely tough. So therefore, isn't somebody who's going to get bullied because he will immediately strike back, which was I always found was a very good tactic at school myself. So these they kind of almost represent the five demographics of your school canteen.
Hmm.
Your high school canteen
Yeah.
areas, your different
Yes.
tables.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess this would be divided up into 10 categories now. But very back in the 70s and 80s, this was very much a cross section of not just an American school, but also a British school.
Hmm.
And we could relate to these. Everybody knew one of these characters
Yeah.
without a doubt. There are two other actors in the movie. Once again, John Kapelos plays the school caretaker, who's only got a couple of scenes, but he kind of sees and knows everything because no one ever pays him any attention. But he sees and hears everything, as most school caretakers do. And then you've also got the teacher, who we'll see a photo
Oh,
of in a
brilliant.
minute, who's sadly passed away now. But he's the one who plays the cop in Die Hard, probably
Hmm.
his most iconic role.
He's
Uh,
also in Trading Places too.
he is in Trading Places, yeah. Paul Gleason.
So
Um,
good.
this was probably John Hughes's first like big hit. It made a
Hmm.
lot of money. It was the follow up to 16 Candles.
Yeah.
There he is.
I think the reason why this was such a big hit was because it spoke to the present like generation of its time,
Yeah,
but also it spoke to other generations because anyone who's ever experienced high school had experienced this separation,
yeah,
and uh and there were certain groups of people that were allowed to speak to each other, like
yeah,
if you're the grungy girl, or the like the outsider, right? The outsiders can talk to each other, right? But they couldn't talk to the jock or the princess. Like that you could talk to the outsider, and the nerd couldn't talk to each other, but the jock and the princess couldn't talk to the nerd unless they were getting homework from them, or there was something else going on, that was official with school. So there were certain things you could do with people, but you could not interact with them unless, and you'd get a lot of crap from your friends for hanging out with other people that weren't in your group. Um,
yeah. I mean, I went to great pains to when I was this age to bridge all of those, because one of the things I remember is um, from my what you call my primary school. That's the school you go to when from the age of 5 until 11. There were about 8 of us that all ended up in the same excuse me, same secondary school.
mhm.
And of course, that's where we were going to make friends that we were going to have for life.
Oh
And
wow.
everybody was sizing everybody up. And some guy tried to actually later became a good friend of mine, tried to sort of bully me. He actually pushed me in the gym class.
Oh
So
no.
I just turned around and smacked him straight in the mouth. And after that, no, it was like people went, "Oh, yeah, we probably shouldn't try and bully that guy." And I was also quite tall. I was the tallest in my year, but that can make you a target. Anything that
Yeah.
makes you stand out is makes you a target.
Yeah.
There was one kid in my year called Thurston who really is the Michael Anthony Hall character. He was in my class, and he had to change schools 3 times because he kept getting bullied.
Yeah.
And he found me on Facebook years later, and I mean I always felt bad that I didn't really get involved and stick up for him. I did with a couple of other kids, but not with him, because so many people seem to have it in for him, and I never really understood why. And there was no reason. There
Yeah.
was no reason. He was just brainy. He was just a bit different.
Hmm.
But he was a really nice kid, and we had a really long, quite heartfelt conversation about that. And he said, "Oh, don't worry, I ended up all right. And he's loaded with lots of money and got a really gorgeous wife, so he's done okay,
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, these are the things that this film made me think about. I don't know that I'd put The Breakfast Club on my feel good list. It's more of a maybe I would. Yeah, maybe I would.
Well, I think it follows a feel good formula because even throughout their differences, they all end up kind of breaking their personal issues and breaking through with their personal issues, and also breaking the rules and start hanging out with people that they weren't supposed to be hanging out with.
Well, for that
Technically,
for that one day. But there's a great line at the end of the movie, and this is actually what makes the movie really
okay.
great, in my opinion, is when Michael Anthony Hall says to everybody, "So, unless I'm wrong, when I see you guys on Monday, I mean, I'm going to consider you guys my friends. Am I wrong about that?" And Molly Ringwald's character bites her lip and says, "You want to know the truth? I really don't think so." And then Judd Nelson's character says to her, "You're an asshole," and she then replies, "What? So you're gonna be his friend on Monday? Sure, you're gonna go up and talk to him, and then as soon as he's gone, you're gonna rag on him with your friends, just like you do on everybody else. Get real." And then Michael Anthony Hall turns around and says, "Well, I'm not going to act like either of you. I won't do that. I am going to say hello to you, and and I guess that makes me a better person than the two of you, doesn't it?" And that's the crux of the whole movie right there.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
conversation. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, there is that,
Oh, it's
and
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise, what is he doing on there? Look at that hair.
He was at an event. He was at an event for the Breakfast
Oh,
Club.
what year was it? Maybe he was filming Legend at the time
He would have
because he
been
had long
filming
hair.
Legends. Yeah, he would have
Yeah,
been
he
filming
would have
Legends.
had. That's the only reason why he would have long hair
Oh,
like
look,
that.
and he was dating Rebecca De Mornay. Now, I
Oh,
wonder where they met.
oh wow.
Ah, ah, ah.
Yeah, yeah. Was that Jed Nelson's girlfriend
Ali
at the time?
Sheedy at an event for the Breakfast Club in
Oh,
1985.
cool.
She looks much older there than I would have thought. She was in War Games, right? She was in War Games.
I believe so. Yeah, I'm not sure, but we love
Okay. Well,
ourselves. I love Ali Sheedy. She's wonderful.
I do like her. Yeah, I
Um,
highly rate her as an actress. Let me see if I can get some more actual movie stills up here.
um, yeah, she. Let's not do the Nielsen rating for for
Nielsen
for
rating.
actors and actresses. We'll leave that for your channel. But we're
I think all the actors in this film are really good. I will say
yeah,
that.
yeah.
And
Who's
I
this
think
now? Who's
I
this? What do you
yeah,
got going on?
this is John Kapelos who plays the janitor in the movie. And
Oh wow,
as I've said earlier, I think he's a massively
underrated. Yeah,
massively underrated actor. He should have had
absolutely.
much bigger roles in film.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. And there he is. What a great actor
Well,
this guy was. Yeah,
that's Paul Gleason, who's
yeah,
plays the teacher. John Kapelos
just wonderful.
he plays the janitor.
Yeah,
So both of them are great actors. I mean, I think Gleason had a pretty, he did a number of big roles. Kapelos mainly always in supporting roles. I would love to have seen him I would love to have seen him carry a movie actually,
yeah.
because
That would have been cool.
I think he could have done. I mean, Kapelos is still alive.
Hmm.
Another one I should try and get an interview with. I always
Oh,
liked this coat, the
oh
coat that
yeah.
Judd
That is,
Nelson wore. I tried to get that coat. And I ended up getting a similar one. It wasn't quite as nice, but when I went to art college, I used to wear a long coat like that, and it had this kind of like green, flowery lining on the inside. It was very, very pretty in pink style clothing. I wish I had a picture of me wearing it. I don't, unfortunately. But he's so young.
Yeah. And Unicorn said that it would just cry and run away when the bullying came back with a big friend.
Right.
And yeah, I too had been just mercilessly bullied, and it got scary as you got older because the there were at first it was like teasing, and some places they were, I have some terrible stories which we're not going to get into, but
No,
yeah,
that's
the
for
thing
a
about
different channel.
yeah, well, no, I can talk about that here. I just don't want to talk about it now.
Yeah.
But the thing about this, even though there are some pretty harsh moments in the storyline here, I don't know, I just felt like at the end there was some sort of a resolution. At least now they know that each person is a human being. And there was some effort to reach out to some humanity in all of this,
Yeah,
and they're not just
I,
the labels that they are, that they're much more than that.
I think if you were to see these characters on the Monday, I think each one of
Mhm.
them would give the other a nod and a smile.
A nod, yeah,
They
at least a
probably would.
nod,
I think some of them would smile at each other. Certainly, Ali
yeah.
Sheedy's character would. Then, of course,
And
there's the question of whether the romance between her character and Emilio's character would continue.
oh yeah, yeah.
Because she gives him the earring, if you
Hmm.
remember.
Hmm.
By the way, this is Molly Ringwald's Lance face.
By the way, she still looks wonderful too. She had what they
Here's an
use special
interesting.
creams or something.
When she was in London doing filming, not filming, she was on stage
Hmm.
doing Sally and When Harry Met Sally,
Hmm.
and her computer went down, and she went round to my friend's house to fix it.
Oh wow.
Said she was really lovely. I'm gonna have to mute now because I'm gonna cough a lot.
Oh boy. Well, thank you so much, Lance, for hanging out with us even throughout all of this. But yeah, yeah, high school is rough. It is very, very rough. Thinking of next, what could be our next thing that we talk about?
I'm
Um,
just gonna go and make myself a hot drink, okay?
oh, sure, sure. I'm gonna
So
let me just
let me know the name of the film you want to do next, and I'll pop it up.
okay, sure, 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 sure. Um, so let's see. I got a couple more. That we could do. I'll try to pick one that's sort of in the flavor of the movies that we've been talking about. Um, Ooh, what about Back to School? That sounds like a good one. 1986 seems like a really good one. Uh, I could get things started with that one. Let's see if I can find. Uh, oh, it looks like
Yeah,
Lance is.
I got it. I got some stories about this as well because my friend plays the son. But I'll go and make my drink while you do the
Oh, sure.
opening remarks and catch up with chat.
Okay, sure, sure. Um, yeah, Back to School or the Rodney Dangerfield is definitely one that I specifically love because Rodney is hilarious. Start off with that. He was hilarious, and maybe some of his jokes now may not hit in the same way because society's changed. Maybe we've changed a little, but I remember being a kid and watching his stand-up routine, and just there were maybe like one or two specials that they would play every once in a while, and just laugh and laugh and laugh at all of s- the the jokes that he would come up with, and of course he had the one, you know, sort of like it was a lot of self-depreciating humor, you know, and it just made you laugh because you're like, there's no way that someone would be so depreciating, but it was also it was a sort of a great way to kind of talk about some of the things he would be bringing up. So I did love his comedy as a kid, and all the movies that he did, he just played into all of his faults, if you will, and didn't and said, "Well, we know that people are going to be making fun of me, or I know that people are going to be saying these things. So why don't I just say it myself?" And he played upon that. Unicorn Rampant Studios says, "Back to School. This is one of my all-time great movies that my brother and sister and I would watch with our dad and just laugh our rear ends off." Yeah, you just can't help it, but just laugh at all of the stuff that was going on. A lot of it was so ridiculous, and even some of the characters that just shake in the movie itself, just shake their heads, and they're just like, "We don't know what to do with this guy." But it's charming. It's really charming. The the thing is that you never feel like any of the jokes that he's saying about himself or other people or situations are geared in a to be a negative thing or a mean-spirited way. It's all feels like he's just coping with the moment, and at the top of his dome, he's coming out with something funny, a funny way to position this kind of weird situation that's happening to him. So that's kind of what I love about his comedy, and especially this. And you mentioned that the person who plays his son in this movie is who again?
It's Keith Gordon who
Yes,
plays Arnie in Christine. Definitely,
yes,
Christine, definitely
yes,
not a feel-good movie.
yes.
Why?
And
What?
well, for me, it was a real good movie when I
No, I
was
think
a
I
little
think Christine is a brilliant film.
but yeah,
I personally think that Keith should have been nominated for an Oscar for that performance.
he was wonderful in that.
Um,
And yes, he's definitely a great actor, and he got a chance to show it all off there. In this movie, I believe he's pretty solid. Um, he plays it straight to Dangerfield's insanity, and it works. A few times he's like he just has to like lay down the law and just say like this is really ridiculous. But I think
yeah,
it is one of the most endearing stories that you would have dad and son doing things together. That was the whole premise too, right? Of him connecting with his son,
yeah.
and um, it's really touching, really touching.
I haven't seen the movie since I saw it at the cinema.
What?
Yeah, I liked it, but it wasn't a film that I sort of wanted to um, see like again and again and again,
Mhm,
I just sort of didn't really um, feel the need to rent it.
mhm,
Um,
mhm.
Keith is now a director, and how I met him was he had a movie called A Midnight Clear,
Okay.
which is an absolutely fantastic film, um, worthy of a stream all on its own. I've actually found pictures with me and Keith when I went to visit him in LA. Would you like to see them?
Okay.
Let me just pop them up quickly. This is from because I posted them on Facebook group. So I'll put so this is Keith and I did have one of us at dinner, but I don't think I posted that in this group. So that's me and Keith on the bottom. That's me in Los Angeles in 2004 or something, trying to get a job writing for Family Guy at the time. And yeah, Keith was like my mentor. And I wrote this big script about Kent State, and he was in the Kent State movie. But I met him at the screening of Midnight Clear at the London Film Festival. I told him about a film I was trying to get made, and he said, "That sounds really interesting. Why don't you send me the script?" And he gave me his address and phone number, and he just kind of became my mentor on and off from, I guess, something like, I think I met him in 95, and he would probably sort of stayed in that role until about 2005, 2006. Yeah, really, really nice man, very private man, quite quiet. But when we went for dinner a few times, and I got to ask him also, like, I had loads of questions about Christine, of course, but I did ask him about Back to School and what it was like to work with Rodney
Okay,
Dangerfield,
yeah.
because I was a fan of Rodney Dangerfield from the first Caddyshack movie. And he said that he was a joy to work with, had a great energy on set, but you had to get the take in the first 3 to 4 takes. After take 4, he was no good. So,
Interesting.
he had a great spontaneity, a great energy. Look, there's Robert Downey Jr. again, popping up in a
He was
nondescript
in
role.
everything.
And there's Burt Young, who I think he just passed away just a few weeks ago.
Yes, he did.
And I totally forgot that Keith's love interest in this is Terry Farrell, who played Dax in Deep Space Nine. If you look, so Deep Space Nine fans. But yeah, so he said you had to get those early takes with him, because he would do something different in every take. But even then, he wasn't a young man, so his energy was limited. He couldn't do any.
Yes, yeah.
But I think, every director should try and do. You want 2 good takes of any shot, and so inevitably you might end up doing 4 or 5 to get 2 good ones. But when you hear about directors doing 80 takes and stuff, it's like, come on.
Yeah, well, yeah, there's a few. Well, that's a whole nother subject matter. But yeah, we'll talk about how
We could
many
do a
takes.
string called 80 takes, couldn't we?
80 takes, yeah.
Yeah.
But Sally Kellerman is in that photo that you just had up, and I absolutely loved her character in this.
I'm a big Kellerman fan. I didn't really sort of meet her in terms of media until quite late in her career, but she always had like a really lovely energy.
Oh yeah, she has a very regal kind of disposition, and her playing the professor and sort of falling
Great.
for Dangerfield's character was sort of very interesting. She was charmed by him, and I like that. I like that she wasn't stuffy, and she also called him out on his BS when she saw it.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love that that kind of dynamic. I wanted to see a little bit more of that. Of course, we have some really great comedic actors here.
Warren and Ned Beatty isn't
Mhm.
that Ned Beatty? I think
Yeah, that's Ned there. He's great. Can do anything. Could do anything. Serious, comedy, anything. Uh,
it's probably part of the movie, because I haven't seen it in so long. But look, if you look in the background, the number plate's falling off the car in the background. To the left.
I see it. Ah, nice, nice, nice. Robert
It's funny
Downey Jr.
how Robert Downey Jr. I can think of 4 or 5 movies he did
Mhm,
around this time.
mhm.
He has what you would call a very sort of metrosexual, non-binary kind of look.
Kind of everybody though had that look.
Well, I don't
Like
know. Yeah, maybe.
it
But
was eyeliner and and blouses and all that stuff. It was hot to look a little feminine actually.
Not in my school.
Oh, really?
No, that would
uh,
not go down well.
there was he also did did a fantastic job on the movie Chaplin. Did you see
Mm.
that?
Yeah, that's like his first real kind of
Woo!
dive into Oscar
Wow,
territory.
I was surprised by that film. I was like, wow, you really, you know, when pushed and when given the proper material, you can really see his work shine through, like his
Yeah.
ability shine through. And yeah, he does well with all of the comedic and the lighthearted stuff. But definitely, Chaplin really opened my eyes to the talent that he truly possessed.
Richard Attenborough had to fight really hard to get him to get the studios to agree to him,
Yeah.
and he had to do like various kind of sobriety
Ugh,
courses, and
okay.
he had to check in with a counselor, and there was a whole shitload of rules laid down.
Oh, I wouldn't. I don't put it past them. I mean, because
Well, that was
at that time, yeah.
that was right in the midst of his,
Hmm.
kind of party
Yeah.
era. I forgot that this chap was in it. Who's, of course,
Oh,
He's in Missing in Action, isn't he? I forget the name of the actor now. And he's the doctor in Fletch with Chevy Chase.
oh yeah.
Is that Babar with a B? Yeah. Keith. It's a shame that sort of Keith kind of left his acting behind and just really went into directing. Look, there's
Oh,
Johnny from Karate
I
Kid.
love this guy so much.
Yeah, he comes across as a really nice guy.
I was so happy that his career got a nice boost or
Yeah,
revival for the Cobra Kai
yeah.
movies. Oh, great. It's so good to see that he's doing well. Um, a TV series that he's got going on. But when I was little, younger, I had such a big crush on him. But he was always playing the bullies. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, why don't they ever give him roles as a hero?
Well, he played Edward Woodward's son in the TV series The Equalizer, which was kind of a sort of neutral, nice guy role. I think that was Oingo Boingo. Now that's the band
Yes,
that Tim Burton isn't, not Tim Burton, Danny Elfman's band.
yes, definitely. He's wonderful.
Yeah,
What a
that's
talent.
right. William Blake Hall. That was M. Walsh. There he is.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah, that's M. Walsh.
okay.
Yeah, Oingo Boingo,
So
I'm
many
pretty
movies.
sure is the band of the guy I just said who does all the music, Danny Elfman, who does all the music for Tim Burton's movies. But he originally started off as being the front man for this band, I believe. I'm pretty sure it's this band. I might be wrong, but I think it's this band. Oh, gobble gobble.
Oh yeah, there she is. Unicorn says, "Why don't they give his beautiful blonde hair a good guy part?" Is what you meant to say. Oh man.
Would you eat
And
that pizza?
William Zabka, yes, I liked him too. In The Equalizer, says William Blake Hall. Yeah.
Shares your name, William. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a fun movie, and it's a good. I think it's a good combination if you wanted to do Caddyshack and then watch this. It's
Yeah.
sort of like let's have some fun tonight kind of movie. It's not too heavy. You're not going to be traumatized. It's just sort of. Uh, a man, a middle-aged man who decides he wants to go back to college and get his degree, and it's a nice story. If you wanted to go to see pair it up with old school, that might be like a good thing too. Uh, so
Yeah, just I don't know a huge amount about the film's production, but Adrienne Barbeau, John Carpenter's ex, is also
mm.
in the movie.
Oh yeah, she plays his wife.
Um,
She's so mean.
Yeah, I was right. Oingo Boingo, the front man of Oingo Boingo is Danny Elfman.
Yes,
So in that shot that we had of them, that must be Danny Elfman in the
that's
middle.
Danny. Yeah.
Yeah. So and that was something I only found out fairly recently.
What?
Yeah.
Oh man, I think I've always known that because I still love that band.
Sally
And
Kellerman we lost last year. That's right.
oh, that breaks my heart.
Yeah, I mean, till 84, so she had a fairly good
Yeah,
innings.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
She was
I mean, but
married.
still, you just want them to live forever.
I know. She was married to her second husband for 36 years. And
Wow.
in Hollywood years, that is a very, very good innings.
Yeah.
I forgot that she was in the Star Trek episode When No Man Has Gone Before. I just completely
Oh, yeah, yeah. She was in that one, and
yeah,
was one of the best episodes. Just
yeah,
incredible.
with
Unicorn
William
Rampant.
Shatner.
Unicorn Rampant Studio says, and then watch Christine. It's a perfect flow into Christine.
Natural transition. Oh my God, what's going on there?
From lighthearted to terrifying.
Yeah.
And terrifying in a great way because there's an odd satisfaction in Christine. I don't know how to fully verbalize, but I love I
Oh,
love
I'm a huge fan of Christine
yeah.
and of the early John Carpenter films in general.
Oh yeah,
Really,
they're
really big
special.
fan.
And what a great director. And Caddy Unicorn Rampant says Caddyshack, Back to School, Christine.
So here's an interesting bit of trivia for you.
Mhm.
The original person, Harold Ramis, did a rewrite on the script, and the
Okay.
producers of the movie originally wanted Jim Carrey to play the Dangerfield part. But he was deemed to be too young at the time, so that he would have had to have had a child son, and the child son wouldn't have been old enough to go to college. So, unless the child son had been played by Wormser from Revenge of the Nerds, and you made it like a movie spin-off tie-in.
Oh man. Well, they could do it. They could do an update today, but
Yeah.
they could do like a version of something like that today with Carrie. He's of age now, I think.
I
Um,
was trying to find out where it was, shot, because it was shot on a university campus, but I can't see where. But Keith said he had I remember him saying he had an absolute blast making this movie.
that's good. Yeah,
Yeah, enjoyed working
yeah.
with
I
Danny.
had sort of like a little crush on Keith when I was little.
Yeah, I can
I
see
wasn't
that.
I wasn't little, but I was in high school. But yeah, I was thinking, well, I think it was because of Christine. I identified with the character of the outsider that was made fun of. That, uh, except for he got revenge in some strange way. I never did. It wasn't my style.
Check out the the rental or purchase fee for these books is a bargain $7, or is that $700? I'm not sure. And
What? Oh boy, we gotta check.
yeah, and it's interesting when you read some of the titles: Tube of Plenty, Marketing Research, People of the Earth, An Introduction to Linguistics.
Let me see with my handy.
All the different things he's gonna learn.
Oh, I can't see the number. That's the.
It's 700, but that could be $7. I'm not sure if he's renting or buying them.
Or yeah.
Oh, this is the scene where he cannonballs off the dive board
Oh
into
yeah. Did
yeah,
they get him for the swim team or something?
yeah.
He's just wonderful.
Um,
I love how serious he is about it too.
yeah, yeah. It was probably I can't remember an acting role that he did after this, because he died just before Caddyshack 2 went into production, and that was and he was supposed to be doing the role that ultimately went to was it Jackie somebody, I forget his name, anyway, but yeah, I can't think of another movie I saw him in. There's Adriana Barbu and Robert Picardo. That's Robert Picardo when he had hair.
Let's see.
That must have been just before he did.
Oh wow,
Space.
so young, so young.
Yeah,
Oh
he
wow.
was such a great actor. Much stronger than people give him credit for.
So young. Oh, he was just so good in Inner Space. Ah, I loved him in that.
So I take it William Zabka's playing a bad guy in this again because I
Yes,
need
he
to
is.
I need to rewatch it.
He's playing a bully, which I was like,
that figures.
yeah, and I hated the fact that they kept doing that, but
Robert Downey Jr. is basically playing the best mate again, which is he kind of cornered the best friend market for a couple of years. Yeah. So did you talk about the plot while I was making my drink with Danny Elfman?
Not really. The plot really is. I forgot exactly if it was because of the contract or something, or if he just wanted to do it, but he goes back to school because I think it's because he wanted to spend time with his son, so he decides that he should go back to school. There's another movie he did though where he had to mixing it up for some reason with something else. Let me just double check.
Yeah, the basic plot is wealthy but undereducated father goes to college to show solidarity with his discouraged son Jason.
Yes.
Learns that he cannot buy an education or happiness.
Yeah. So there's that, and then there's another movie I may be mixing it up with because it had sort of there was sort of something else to go with it. Oh, Easy Money.
Wow.
Easy Money. Oh my God, that was so funny. Where I think somebody died, and in order for him to keep the money, he had to spend a certain amount of money in a
That's
certain
a bit
amount of
like
time.
Brewster's Millions.
Yeah, exactly. What a fun movie. Wow. I certainly do miss his comedy because, again, it was that depreciating comedy, which I'm not always a big fan of, but it wasn't done in a malicious way. He was never being malicious with anybody. Um,
No, I told you earlier,
I
self-depreciating
love
humor is the best.
I, I
Um,
love I loved just the silly gag of it. Some of it was gaggy. Yeah, just it was just a good time, and it wasn't dirty. Not so many. Uh, it wasn't naughty jokes. It was
yeah,
clean jokes. The entire family could watch. I remember many times staying up late, and seeing it on the late night TV, and just laughing uncontrollably, like just yucks all night long. A little, a bowl of popcorn and just laugh. So yeah, this was definitely one of those movies I would turn to for definitely a feel good experience.
I need to rewatch it. I might even do a retro review of it
Yeah,
actually.
you
So.
should because it really is. Um, it's a treat. It's a blast from the past. I'm not sure if everything still holds up because there are sometimes you watch something and you're like, ooh, that one
Yeah,
scene. But there on the most part it's still good. It's just maybe one or two scenes maybe like, oh, they probably couldn't get away with that today.
no, yeah.
Because there were some things I would say from like the 70s and the 80s that was just like, ooh, you had to. The times changed, and I like that there are movies to prove that times have changed, and
I,
like
I
that.
forgot that Rodney Dangerfield had a cameo, an uncredited cameo in Natural Born Killers, where they're showing that TV show. It's like a scene within a scene. And I won't go into the character he's playing because it's quite adult in nature. But yeah, and they particularly wanted him to play that part because he was known for being such a funny, sort of lovable man.
Hmm.
And the idea was he was playing this completely evil guy.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah, I have not seen Natural Born Killers. I don't think I will. It's not my kind of
probably
thing.
not one I would thrust in front of you and say, Retro, you must see this.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it's not for you. He mainly, after he did Ladybugs and that, and then after that he mainly did outside of his stand-up stuff, he mainly did voiceovers on animation.
Oh well, yeah, that's really. I mean, his voice is so iconic. So yeah, that sounds like a natural. So any other ones that you think we've done?
Well, let's
2,
let's talk.
3.
Do we want to talk about the Lord of the Rings trilogy, or should we stick with 80s?
Okay,
You could,
let's
you could
stick with.
retitle the stream "Feel Good in the 80s." To make
Well, yeah, let's stick to the 80s. Is there anyone else that think
because we
that
could
we
do
could?
feel good trilogies next time, because that'd be like Back to the Future, Star Wars original trilogy,
Okay, all
Lord of the
right.
Rings, you know, Jaws 1, 2, 3. Just kidding. Halloween 1, 2, 3. No, but certainly those three. I mean, just those three alone, you could talk about for a couple of hours.
Yes, let's do that. We're gonna do feel good trilogies, Star Wars,
Let's
Lord.
let's bring in the bacon and do Footloose.
Okay, let's do that. Lord of Rings, and what was the other one that you mentioned? You said
He
Star Wars.
has commented and tagged me on Twitter about 4 times now, and I know it's him. I know it's his account. I know he runs it.
Okay.
I mean, he may well have an assistant who runs it occasionally, but
Who's this that we're talking about?
Kevin Bacon.
Oh, Kevin Bacon.
So what I'm going to do is, as we move on to the subject of Footloose, I'm quickly going to do a post about it on my Twitter.
Okay.
Now talking, and I'm going to tag him in it. All things Footloose.
Okay. Because I also did one of my favorite reviews of Footloose on the channel. So yeah, he's great. He's still doing his thing. It's wonderful. He did a post recently.
Yeah, I'll tell you about the first time he tweeted on my Twitter timeline, or X timeline as we're it was in the lockdown.
Okay.
And you know, things were bad, and I had a really bad day, and I put a post on my Twitter venting something along the lines of, you know, God, I don't know how I can handle this anymore. And it wasn't just to do with lockdown. There was other thing. I think this was actually, this was not in lockdown. This was 2019.
Oh, wow.
Summer of 2019.
Okay.
And I had this big film deal fall apart and stuff. You know, you get a notification that someone's posted under your thing, and I sort of like ting, you know, and I went to look, and the person who'd posted underneath it was Kevin Bacon, and I followed his account, but he didn't follow me, or at least if he does, I can't see him following me. So I was thinking, how on earth did he know to post under this thing? And he posted, hang in there, man. It'll get better, trust me. And
Oh,
you know, and that was a really nice thing. It gave me like a massive lift.
oh, that's
Uh,
so
a-
nice.
and I'm sure my friend Jason Fleming had something to do with that, because
Okay.
I remember I'd been on the phone crying to him about whatever was going on, and for about an hour, and earlier in the day, and you know, it's just one of those days where everything was like falling apart, and you kind of lost all hope, and yeah, and that really. And anyway, since then, occasionally he'll pop up or like something on my timeline. So Footloose, when it came out in the UK, was I think they had 2 songs from the movie in the UK charts, and the main song Footloose was #1 in the UK charts for like about 10 weeks straight, maybe
Mm-hmm.
even longer. The other thing that people will remember is that there were 2 films that were released on the retail market in the UK, more or less in the same week, on VHS. And one of those was Raiders of the Lost Ark, which was the first ever major feature film to be released to the VHS sell-through market, they called it,
Mm-hmm.
for $9.99. And the other film was Footloose. Now, I didn't see Footloose at the cinema because it was, you know, the perception was it was a girls' film. It was like,
Really?
I'm talking in the UK. So in the UK, the perception of the movie was
Wow.
it's about dancing. It's got some
Okay.
hunky guys in it. It's a girls' movie.
Interesting.
Like that was also the perception of the Fame movie. That was also the perception
Yeah,
of
that's
Grease. That these were chick flicks. But when I saw the film, again, me and Paul Wilkins renting it from the same video store. Can't remember the name of the video shop. But I completely fell in love with the movie and everything that it stood for. This very kind of simple tale about you know, a kid moving to a new town as a result of a divorce, and trying to do what he loves, which is dance, and finds that the town is kind of being strangled by these ever increasing sort of almost Nazi-like rules of religion, which have all come to stem from the town's pastor losing his oldest son in a tragedy that it was a car crash on a bridge that involved drink and dancing and this kind of thing. Now there's a scene with that most people don't talk about in the movie, because everybody talks about the dance scenes and the scenes with Chris Penn, because this is the film that really put Chris Penn on the map. He'd done other stuff before it, but this is the film that it's the film that introduced us to Sarah Jessica Parker. There's a scene with Ren, which is Bacon's character, and the actress who plays his mum, who's a great actress, really, really good.
Is it Diane?
Diane
Weiss?
Weiss. Diane Weiss plays
Yes.
Laurie Singer's mum.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, yes. It's Diane Weiss.
Kevin Bacon's mum is played by Frances Lee McCain.
Do you have the IM so we can have a visual on this?
Yeah, let me just I was just actually
Before you
trying
get into
to
it.
get that. Yeah, so sorry about that. Let me do that. So he has a scene with his mother where he's talking about when my dad left, you know, I thought it was because of me. And Kevin plays that scene completely perfectly. And as soon as I saw that scene, I was like, holy shit, who is this guy? This guy can really act.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't know he'd been to Juilliard and all of that kind of stuff. But it's just this beautiful moment between him and his mom. It's really small. And if you watch the movie again and you watch that scene, you can, because a lot of the perception was that again in the UK was that Bacon was a big hit in this film because he was a very good dancer, which he was.
Yeah.
And you know, and he had all the moves and all the choreography and blah blah blah. And it was kind of like a Top Gun movie in that way, you know. It was, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And the dance sequences were very much like ballet almost. but no one ever really talked about his acting in the film.
Oh, that's the misconception of the movie.
Yeah,
I had I watched it. I was there in the theaters to see it. My mom took me to go see it. And it was great. I loved it. But I was too young to really understand what the movie was really about, except for, oh yeah, they're dancing and it's a lot of talkie and then there's dancing. And I watched it again like maybe 5 years ago.
right.
And my God, I was like, wow, this is so good. It was the script
Yeah,
is
script's really
so
good.
wonderful. The dialogue, like the right from the beginning,
Uh,
you can tell Kevin Bacon is one heck of an actor,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
his
yeah,
opening line, just his opening lines, and just how defiant his character is too, as he's talking to these people who are supposed to be really uh you know humble in front of. He's like, ah, no, 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 not me. There's a part of him you can see, oh, he's gonna be trouble for them. And also the relationships between all of the characters,
yeah,
the pastor and his wife, that's really intense. And their arc, they actually go through a huge arc in the story, which is like,
yeah,
wow, you could say that this story is really about the pastor and what he's going through, and dealing with his grief. And
yeah,
it's just beautiful how it turns out. It is a feel good movie at the end because of the resolution. And this was sort of based on a real story of a town that did not allow dancing to occur. And that's also kind of the scary thing, is that, oh yeah, there are parts of uh the world, of parts of America, and there where things like this is just not, dancing was prohibited. And you can't imagine, like, just dancing. That's doesn't seem like it's a harmless thing, but according to the one town there, it was a horrible offense of some sort. And yeah, it's just a wonderful tale. The Lori, the girl Lori, she goes through her own uh, arc as well.
yeah.
I
Laurie Singer is actually also, I have to say, very, very good in the movie.
She is.
Yeah.
She does a fantastic job. Um, I remember at the time mixing her up with Daryl Hannah. They have a similar look. Tall, beautiful, gorgeous blonde. But I think she sets herself apart in a unique way in this film. And
So guess who was originally slated to play Kevin Bacon's part, but couldn't ultimately because it clashed with the next movie he was doing.
I forget. I know I was told, but I forget.
It was Tom Cruise because
Oh,
the producers had seen him do the underwear
of
dancing
course, of
in
course.
Risky Business,
Yes, that
but
makes sense.
he was unavailable because he was already filming all the right moves. He auditioned 3 times and had the dancing ability and the look, but he also got an injury.
Oh,
No, sorry, Rob Lowe was the second choice,
okay.
and Rob Lowe auditioned 3 times, but he got an injury and then he couldn't
My
do the movie.
goodness.
Um, yeah, so Christopher
This is,
Atkins also claimed he was cast in the film at one point. But yeah, I mean, I can't imagine anyone playing this
yeah.
movie with Bacon. And
No,
Bacon was he had an unusual look, not what you would
yes.
call your typical sort of leading man face, and that's what I've always found really interesting about him to watch as an actor. And he does a lot of really
Yeah.
little things with the part that you only pick up on when you've watched the film again and again.
Oh
Um,
yeah. He's just amazing in it. Like you were saying, he has a unusual look. He doesn't have the typical, like I'm not sure what it is quite about his face, but he is a good looking guy.
Yeah, but
Uh,
he's a
it's
good
not
looking
that he's
guy, but
not
he's
good looking, but there
no,
is something unique about his face structure.
he's got amazing charisma as
He
well,
oh
and
oh yeah, and
incredible
still
presence
oh yes
in
yes
movies. Now, here's another interesting fun fact: the original director on the movie, first approached to direct the film, was going to be our man from Splash, Ron Howard,
oh
but Ron Howard turned it down to do Splash instead, and I
okay
think that was the right fit for him.
okay yeah
Then they started shooting with another director, Michael Cimino, his first film after the disaster Heaven's Gate. But after a month of filming, he was already behind. They fired him.
oh wow
So and I think I might be wrong, but Herbert Ross, who originally was also in the mix, but for whatever reason couldn't do it. He was then brought back in to
Mhm.
direct it. But the whole idea for the movie came from the person who wrote the lyrics for Fame, Alan
Yes,
Parkinson.
yes.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. What a brilliant creator he
yeah.
did. Um, this this was a personal story.
Dean Pitchford.
Yes, this was a personal story for him, and it really he puts a lot of love into it, and he's written so many wonderful songs as well. So yeah, he is responsible for this movie. And look, is it? Um, I think I think you're absolutely right. It has a problem with image. For some reason, it gets the image of a movie about dancing or a movie about teenagers. But
Yeah,
it's much better than that, much deeper than that. There's more drama in it than you really would ever expect it to have, and the characters are well served in this. There are so many poignant moments in the story that teach you more about the world and what happened before uh, this guy and his mom shows up to this town. It is a deeper story than you would expect. And I think it should have won awards. It should have gotten more attention. It should have been uh, more highly regarded than what we typically see. But it's like, oh yeah, it's another teenage dancing movie.
yeah. It was
It's not. It's
it
so
was
not.
so much more than that. I've actually just put the town on which the story was based into the chat.
Oh yes. Okay. Let's see what you're
So
saying here.
it was based on
Uh,
Elmore City in Oklahoma. And you can read a bit more detail there.
yeah, the town had banned dancing since its founding in 1898 in an attempt to decrease the amount of heavy drinking. One advocate of the dancing ban was the Reverend from the nearby town, Hennepin, F.R. Johnson. He said, "No good has ever come from a dance."
Yeah.
And you also say, if you have a dance, somebody will crash it, and they will be looking for only two things: women and booze.
It's so sad to see Chris Penn here in the prime of his youth, really
Yes,
slim, fit, good-looking guy,
yeah,
and then kind of he didn't get. I don't know what happened, whether he had a reputation for being difficult. I think there were probably narcotics and whatnot, addiction issues and things, but you didn't really see him again until Tarantino picked him up for Reservoir Dogs, and of course that was part of Tarantino's gift. Was he knew films and actors so well.
mhm,
Once he got his first hit underway, he could go back and find anyone he wanted who was still alive and put them in a movie, and he
oh
did.
yeah,
He resurrected the career of a number of people like John Travolta, Robert Foster, to name but a few. But
mhm,
Chris Penn again, is another one who don't underestimate his acting in this
Oh, he's great.
film. He plays the role kind of very straight, kind of a kind of big dumb lug, but again, he also has an arc. You're right. Like every character in this film has an arc, even the
Yes.
supporting cast.
Yes. Yeah.
Well,
I
that's
mean,
a
and
mad
this
scene.
and the character that Laurie Singer plays is not a character you like. Okay, this is not a likable character,
Yeah.
but you the way she is put with the main character. What is his character's name in this? I forgot.
Ren
Ren.
is the name of Bacon's character.
Ren is such a strong person that this girl who's kind of like gotten her way all her life, and except for like she's having some trouble dealing with her boyfriend, and he ends up, uh, you know, physically assaulting her. It is pretty rough to see that.
Oh, that's Chuck, isn't it? Chuck. The boyfriend is called Chuck.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It is rough to see what he does to her, but at the same, and you don't feel good about that happening to her at all, even if though she's a you know kind of a messed up individual. But there's a place where he's like, I don't care what's going on with you and your ex-boyfriend and or your dad. This is about me. And I was like, woo, that is a strong character that is set in uh his own path, and he draws the line. and
Yeah.
and I love that. I love that there was that moment where he's like, look, you can't just come to me with your, with your tears, crocodile tears, and think I'm gonna go run and beat up your ex-boyfriend. Like I'm doing this for me. And I was like, wow, this is I like this. I really do. Especially for not just for the character, but also for as if you're looking for like an example of how to handle things. I wouldn't say like movies should always do this, but that was a great way of showing how things should sort of kind of fall in line.
Here it is.
Uh-oh.
The vinyl soundtrack.
Uh-oh, yes. What a great soundtrack too. What great songs are on there. But yeah, I always loved it because it did have that kind of moral edge to it that felt like it was didn't feel like it was preaching at you, but also was giving you like, oh,
No, and it so easily could have fallen
yes,
into that camp. I don't know.
yes.
I don't know if you remember. I said on one of our previous streams that I used to do my own version of the Oscars in a school exercise book. I would list I'd do my own reviews of movies, and I'd list all my categories. And at the end of the year, I would, in my own little book, I'd give out my awards to who I thought was the best actor that year, the best actress, all that. And I remember quite clearly that year, Kevin Bacon was my choice for best
Oh,
actor.
wow.
This was the film that made me follow his career. And I also, if you remember, I told you I've still got it somewhere. I have a list. I used to be pinned on my cupboard in my old flat. And it was a list of all the actors I wanted to work with in my lifetime. And right near the top of that list, I can't remember where he came, but he was in the top 3. Kevin Bacon's list is there.
Oh,
And
yeah.
if I could work with one American actor, direct them, write them something in my lifetime, it definitely would be Kevin Bacon, right at the top of the list. Tom Hanks is in the top 5 for sure, but Kevin Bacon's career, I followed. Like I remember I said Tim Thomerson was an actor whose career I followed really early. Him and Bacon were probably the first 2 actors whose career I followed. And one of the things I really like in the movie is there's a scene where Ren comes to pick up Ariel before the dance. So before the scene we're looking at now, and he's in midline, and he sort of stops when he sees her coming out the house, and she's like, "What?" and she thinks like she looks bad, and he's kind of stumped, and he goes, "You're beautiful," and she says, "What?" And he says, "You're beautiful," and it's because no one's ever said that to her before.
Aw.
You know, like her boyfriend never
Yeah.
said that to her before. It's a really, really, really beautiful moment, and that's the moment when they've both actually really fallen in love in the
Yes.
movie, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. There is something special that happens there.
yeah.
Which
John
makes
Lithgow
it.
is amazing in this film as
Oh
well.
my gosh. Well, he
Yeah,
steals the movie. He
he does a
steals
bit.
the
He does.
movie.
Yeah,
He
him and
steals
Diane.
it.
Do you remember the scene outside the dance?
Yes. It's my favorite moment in the whole movie.
Oh well, yeah. I mean,
Ah,
and he suddenly
I'm
realizes
getting teary-eyed. Oh my God. I
he
love that
suddenly
part.
realizes his wife isn't there, and she tries to bring him back to how they were when they were kids. She says,
Yes.
"Don't you remember the time when you used to look at me that way? You would take me to dance."
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's when he realizes. I mean, there are two moments in the film where he really realizes he's lost his way.
Oh,
One is that moment, and the other is when the people start burning books in
but
the
books.
town.
Yeah. Yeah. When they start
Um,
burning the books, he's like, wait a minute. This isn't what I was talking about. And I was like, well, you got people riled up, and look, hate, it begins to start to pile on top of itself, and
yeah,
people take it to the next level every single time. So
but
and he was really a person who was suffering, and didn't know how to. He thought he was doing the right thing.
yeah, he
He
didn't know
thought he
where
was.
to
Yeah.
place his grief.
Yeah, he thought he was doing the right thing. He thought he was protecting the kids of his town. He thought he was protecting his daughter. He did not realize that it it was not only suppressing their ability to express themselves and have some fun, which is a natural human emotion, a natural human desire to have fun. Every once in a while, life can be hard. You work, you study, you do all those things, but you need to have a little fun, and that is kind of where I did love the way this movie encouraged that life can be tough, but hey, every once in a while throw on a song that you like and dance. And I love the fact that they use dancing too as a way to release some aggression. The barn scene with him angrily dancing. He's just throwing his body all around. And that was his
Mm.
moment to, instead of fighting someone, beating someone, yelling at someone, he used his body to release the pent up energy and frustration that he had in his life by dancing. It's just wonderful. There's so
There
many
were two
moments.
scenes that were cut, by the way, for the UK release, which we didn't get to see until a lot later. So, and
Oh, hi.
I knew they were missing because they're in the flashbacks in the angry dance scene. You see the scene where the kid in the class offers him the joint. You remember that, and he's trying to get him into selling or buying drugs,
Okay.
and that links into the scene with the guy who's, I don't think he's the stepfather. He's like a friend of the mum, which is how they ended up in that town. He might be his uncle or something. And I think a lot of the scenes with that guy were cut because you can tell there was more there. And he says, "I heard there was some problem up at the school. I think it was drugs." And then he says, "Ren, I would never try and take the place of your father." And Bacon's got that great line, "Yeah, there's no chance of that," and just like walks out. That scene with the selling of the drugs was cut, and the fight scene at the end basically went from, "Hey Chuck, yeah, you're a real goddamn hero when you're 5-1." There's the flying kick, and then the next shot was the final shot of Chuck being knocked out.
Oh, wow.
There was none of the rest of the fight was in there. Now that wasn't cut for the cinema in the UK release, but I didn't see Footloose in the cinema. I saw it when it went out on video release, and
Okay.
the video shop's got the same version that was on the sell through, and we did not see the uncut version on VHS until the 90s. So I guess because they thought it was, you know, too violent or whatever. But I was glad when I saw the full version. It made a lot more sense. There's a funny video of
Oh, wait
Kevin-
1 second. I just wanted to say hi to Sin Havoc. Hello, Sin Havoc. How are you?
hello. Yeah, if you're not having fun, what's the point? She says. Absolutely.
Yes, and I believe Sin Havoc is a male person. Is the proper pronouns male? Am I correct, Sin Havoc? Let me know. Uh, and yes, you're absolutely like I did not know about those deleted scenes. I thought I saw
Only for the UK, not
that.
for America. Only for the UK.
Oh, okay. Because
Only for the
I don't
UK.
remember him. I don't remember him selling drugs though.
No, it's he's in
Ah, yes. See,
he's
I
in
thought so.
Castle.
Sin Havoc is a dude. So good.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's not Kevin Bacon's character he basically is in a room where somebody offers him some weed,
Oh,
and
okay.
he says no, and a teacher comes in and just sort of catches that moment in the act. By the way, this scene where Bacon does his speech with the
Oh,
town
yeah,
meeting,
yes. Wonderful. Yeah.
and he says, you know, he quotes from the Bible, and there's that, and he's trying to talk, and he's so nervous. He plays it just right because it would be absolutely nerve-wracking for a kid to do that in a town where he's not welcome. And he says, it says in David, and then he forgets and goes, "What did David do? What did David do?" He has to look it up quickly, which is a really funny moment. And then he starts quoting, "Leaping and dancing for the Lord, leaping and dancing." See, there was a time for this law, but not anymore. This is our time to dance. And
Yeah.
I remember that speech when I watched it for the first time. I got chills, and I was like, "Yeah, man, this is what like being, you know, young is all about." I mean, you can't cage people,
Being alive.
otherwise because that's damaging to them as well.
Yeah, yeah. And
Um,
I would say being alive in general. I mean,
yeah,
I love dancing. I mean, if you took that away from me, I don't know. And music and enjoying music and the arts and expression, those are all things like being able to draw and paint and do crafts and invent things. That's part of being a human being. If we weren't allowed to do those things, and we we would not survive as a species. We'd end
no,
up just killing each other.
yeah.
Um, and which sometimes we end up doing that too. But yeah, it's really really interesting that this movie it has a simple premise and yet it says so much about humanity and each and every one of us. I believe so. It was one of those things where I guess I'm not sure if you're not supposed to relate to this if you're, you know, a certain demographic or group, but I totally related to this story.
Yeah, I
And
did
I
too.
noticed, when I took that second look at the story as an adult too, with adult eyes, like looking at that and seeing and noticing the cinematic moments and the dramatic moments, I was like, wow, I've never really known this movie. I had to review it on my channel so you guys can get my full breakdown of all the little scenes that really you know made a big difference to me. But it definitely is a remarkable movie that gets not enough love. I don't think it gets enough love.
No, I mean, it got a lot of love at the time, but probably doesn't get enough
It
love now. And then there was also
Yeah.
kind of there was a crappy remake as well in
Oh, I didn't bother with that, but
2011.
um,
It has been put on stage. It's been staged as a musical.
yeah,
I was
sounds
told
appropriate.
the musical was very good. Unfortunately, I never saw it.
Yeah,
You know,
seems appropriate that this would be a musical, and not for the remake. I don't know if I heard that it was actually good. That they
It was perfectly fine. It was just unnecessary, you know. It just
it's not something. Yeah, I did not see it. I did not see it. I thought this was great in what it did. Um, and also there is the nostalgia for the 80s. The songs are perfectly 80s. You know what I mean? This is a time capsule that I want to
yeah,
continue to visit. Oh my God, there's a few cinematic moments in this movie too that are absolutely gorgeous as far as capturing color and texture.
yeah. Well, one
It's
of them's on screen
just
right now.
yeah, this is one of them, but also there's one where they're in a like a junkyard and you see all the decaying cars all around them. It's just beautiful. This is another wonderful one too. It just so that Cameron knew what to do with these characters and the space.
Yeah,
That was just wonderful. That's there's a scene where um, uh, Ariel and um, uh, Ren are kissing on the car, and it's like sunset. It's just beautiful, just beautiful.
I know the scene you mean.
Yeah, look at that shot. It's great.
That's Chuck's car with the you know,
Yeah, yeah,
it's like the redneck car, and just to emphasize it's the redneck car, let's put some deer antlers on
the
the
on the
top.
top there.
He
Yeah.
probably killed the beast, you know.
Hmm.
Yeah, this is the factory where they ultimately end up putting the dance. He gets hassled by the cops. Um, yeah, it's I mean, you know, the album was in the top 40 album charts in the UK for not months, years. I mean, I remember, like, you know, you'd go in and you'd go into the store, you'd see that they'd always have the top 40 vinyl chart. And you know, there'd be Footloose still chipping away. It'd be like number 31 or something. But I bought the album twice actually, because I gave it as a present to my first girlfriend, which was my original copy. And then
Hmm.
I thought I have to have it because I used to listen to it all the time. There's a song in you know, everybody took Footloose. Everybody knows the Footloose song, but
Hmm.
there's two other songs that are absolutely amazing in the film. Bonnie Tyler's "Holding Out for a Hero,"
Oh, you know it.
which was released as a single in the UK. Now I can't remember which direction it was, either way later or way before. I think later, and was a number one when it was released. And I remember thinking, oh, that's on my, yeah, it must have been later, because I was thinking that's on the Footloose album. I've got this track already.
Hmm.
How come this has taken so long? But then there's a really beautiful song they play in the dance sequence, in this sequence, before it all gets up tempo, and it's called Almost Paradise. Do you remember the
Oh
track?
yes, almost paradise.
Paradise knocking on heaven's door.
Oh, that used to be my song. Okay, I
Almost
was singing like
paradise.
everywhere.
How could I ask for more? Oh my god! I mean, don't listen to that song when you've just broken up from your girlfriend. But
Yes, yes, that is a sad downer. Um,
this actor
but
that played
let's hear
Chuck.
it for the boys. Let's not forget
Oh
that song. That
yeah,
was
let's hear
great.
it for the boys.
You. Before we go any further, wanted to say hi to Stunt Brat. Hello, so glad that you're
Oh
able
yeah.
to hang out
Hey
and
hey, Sunbright.
participate. She says hi, my sweet retro and Outcast. Great stream, lurking hugs. Oh, so good
Bless
to
you.
see you.
I'm. You know, it's funny because I tagged Kevin Bacon and I did the post about this stream, and our viewers doubled straight away. So
Oh, really? Wow.
yeah, so maybe Bacon was watching at one point.
Maybe he was
You
watching.
never know.
Yes.
You never know. This
Kevin Bacon,
actor,
we love you.
I tell you now that there's of his generation, because his generation is like Sean Penn, Tom Cruise, those other guys of his generation. I would say he is, you know, Tom Cruise is the star. but he is the most versatile and gifted actor of that generation. He has played more extreme opposites of roles than any of the others, and I just think his talent is phenomenal. You look at the range of his movies. Yeah, he's quite incredible. This is John I think it's Laughlin who plays
Okay.
oh, hang on, no, sorry, Jim Youngs. I apologize. This is Jim Youngs who played Chuck.
Okay.
Just a fun fact about him. He did a B movie called Skeeter about giant mosquitoes in 1993, and he
Oh
was the
man.
name in the movie. You know, he was the and I remember renting that from the video store.
Was it a horror movie or
Well, it
like
was a
a?
creature feature horror film.
Oh, that sounds like one. Okay,
I
let
mean, it
me
was
write it down. It's called.
Peter. Yeah, it was not as much fun as I was hoping. He was also
Oh
in
no.
Cyborg. He was in Cyborg 2 as well.
Oh, Cyborg too. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
It's been
he
a
was in
while.
Cyborg 2, which is that an Albert Poon? No, it's Michael Schroeder. Okay.
Yeah.
Um.
Albert Poon did the first one, and oh my God, I love that
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
I love
No, it's not
it.
Albert
Yeah.
Poon. No.
Unicorn says we love you, Kevin Bacon, and everything. Yes, he was. He's not failed me in anything I've seen him. He's just been solid throughout his entire
Yeah.
career, and I actually have a. Well, I used to always see him when I was like around in the '90s with his wife.
Oh
Around
yeah.
it
And they're still
when I
together.
yeah, yeah, and I when I lived in New York, I used to always see them, just and they're just like a simple couple walking down the street, and I never said anything or went up to them because I believe that celebrities need to, up some private time. They look like they were enjoying themselves, so I didn't want to
Yeah.
interrupt. But it was so sweet seeing the two of them, and they're such a cute couple. And Stunt Brett says, I wish I'd worked with Kevin. I was called to double Lori Singer after I had my youngest daughter, but my tummy was still too puffy. Oh
Ah.
no. Oh,
Well,
oh wow.
Kevin Bacon had 4 doubles for that dance sequence in
Oh
the
yes, yes,
factory.
yes. I
Yeah,
yeah,
so, the guy swinging on the rope is not him.
yeah.
The guy doing the flips is not him. I mean, he can dance, but they just didn't want him to do anything where he might injure himself.
Yeah,
Right.
they would do that for just about anybody. They would
Yeah,
bring in replacements to do the small moments where things got where people with special talents needed to do them. Like, and they did that with Flash Dance, quite
yeah.
and which is another one of my favorite movies in this kind of genre, if you will.
Yeah, and I think that's a much simpler film with very very simplistic storyline. Still lovely little movie.
Yes.
Whereas and this, like
It
you
does get a
said,
little deep. It does get a little deep,
yeah,
but not
not
not as
not
much as this one.
yeah, and this really got kind of unfairly shoved. You mentioned it earlier into
Yeah,
that. It's got written off as another kind of dance movie.
yeah,
People would put it in the same category as things like breakdance and Fame, and this is definitely in the same ballpark as Fame, because Fame, the original Fame movie, is a very serious, quite dark film actually.
oh yeah,
Um,
it gets
yeah,
really intense. It
yeah,
gets
the
really
dark
intense.
sides of trying to be famous and the
Yeah,
failure, and the kid that everybody thought was going to be successful, and then he's waiting on their tables in the restaurant at the end of their year.
uh,
He went
so
to Hollywood, had
so
some
deep.
meetings, didn't work out. Now he's waiting tables back in New York.
Yeah,
So oh,
heartbreaking.
I had one of those cassette decks.
Oh yeah,
Um,
everybody. I think at some point, I think you needed it to play good music and listen to the radio too.
yeah,
Uh,
and I'm guessing that's a stunt man, probably not Kevin Bacon. Or is that Chuck that no, Bacon doesn't jump off, does he? It's Chuck that jumps off the truck. He stays on the truck.
oh yes, yes,
Um,
yes.
yeah. This is the actor on the right with the checkered shirt. That's the one who tries to sell him the drugs in
Oh,
school.
okay.
And there's a
Yeah, I forgot
flashback.
about that.
There's a
Actually,
flashback shot of that scene in the warehouse sequence, which is why I knew the scene was missing from the UK original release. So yeah, but yeah, I mean, this is a film I probably watch, I don't know, at least once a year.
hmm.
Like you said, you can
Oh wow,
pop it
yeah.
on. But it's, you know what, if you put this film on in the background, you know, and the music bits and that, you'll kind of be doing whatever you're doing, making your sandwich or something.
You'll dance along to it
But
probably.
when these two guys have got a scene
Yeah.
and they're talking, oh my god, you get drawn into the film like so
Oh,
quick.
it is so like really honestly the these talking points like I said when I first saw it as a kid I was like, oh, there's talkie in this. I was not like paying attention, but as a grown up definitely I'm like, wow, this is so juicy because every single scene like this is giving you more and more
Yeah,
information and
yeah.
backstory on the characters, the way they think, what they're planning, and you need all of this to coincide with what's happening with the story. You know, this pastor is just tormented psychologically. He is at his wits end trying to make sure to keep everybody safe. He does not know how to do it. He's also grieving. He does not know how to do that either. And so it is really difficult. You know, some of the scenes are difficult to watch, not in a bad way, but without feeling like some kind of emotion or empathy for these characters. You know, you get into each one and feel like you understand where they're coming from, and it's through these talking moments that's really much more powerful than it has any right to be, you know, because
Mm.
like I said, a movie, Footloose, you know, about dancing. Yeah, you're just not gonna think that a serious dramatic moment is gonna happen, but it does. It's and Lith Cowan is like just he's just wonderful in this. He's just incredible in this. I can't say how much I enjoyed it so much.
It was I think this was the first movie I'd ever seen him in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he did this and he did 2010, the year we made contact, not long after this, which is a very good movie.
Okay, yeah.
Very, very underrated film.
Hmm.
And yeah, I mean, you know, it was, yeah, it's just a phenomenal performance. This is the scene where, this is just before the book burning scene, if I remember rightly. And it's the scene where the wife says, you know, I used to love watching your sermons. I used to get so turned on by your sermons. They were what made me fall in love with you.
Yeah.
And you know, yeah, unfortunately now she kind of, now she I think she effectively says to him, you're playing to the crowd, you know.
Yeah.
Um the by the way,
And yeah, and obviously it's stirring them up into
yeah,
a place where he doesn't want it to go. He really does not want it to become a violent situation in which it is brewing into that. It's brewing into violence now. But let's, Sunfret has some, as a comment here. It says, when I was called to double Lori Singer, it was for a TV series in 1996, aquatic theme. The wardrobe was very tight, lol. And she also says,
no doubt.
I just found out that Lori Singer is Singer's sister. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, I can kind of
Yeah,
see
that's,
like the
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
resemblance.
Mark Singer from the TV show V.
And Beastmaster, the wonderful movie Beastmaster. Thank you for letting us know that. Thank you. And Unicorn says, who is in the world according to Garp? Amazing role for John Lithgow. Yes, he was in that movie." And
Mm.
it's not the world according to Garp is a downer.
Yeah, that's not a great
But it's
film.
an excellent movie, and yeah, John Lithgow was in that one too. He was also in what am I thinking? Buckaroo Banzai. He was in Buckaroo Banzai as well.
That's a
Playing,
that's a great movie.
yes, and
Well,
some of the
it's a strange movie, but it's great because it is strange. It's brave. I liked it.
yes. Wow, this is really. I had so much fun today.
So this mill is actually part of the Geneva steel mill, which was built in 1942. They did actually shoot the interior dance scene in the mill.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was surprised to learn that because you would think, oh, that would be shot interior studio back in LA or
Right.
whatever, but not so. All the movie pretty much was shot on location in Utah. The Geneva steel mill's not there anymore. It's been demolished, as has the drive-in place with the arcade machines. You see the arcade machines being removed. So most of the places that they used for the movie have now sadly gone.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I mean, it was like I said, I was quite surprised to learn it was principal photography shot in '83, Payson High School. The tractor scenes were filmed in and around Payson and Payson High School, and the church scenes were filmed in American Fork. And the steel mill was Geneva Steel in Vineyard, which is on Lake Utah. So yeah, Payson High School. Wonder if we can get a quick look at that. Oh yeah.
All right, and
Yeah.
Brett says Diane Weiss rocked. My friend Cece Vendrell doubled her. Very petite.
Yeah, she's tiny in real
Yeah,
life. I
she,
bet she's really nice.
yeah, she's such a wonderful actress, and we watched Lost Boys a few weeks back, and so good to see her.
God, yeah, I forgot
She's
she's the
solid in
mother.
everything. Yeah, she's just solid in
Yeah,
everything. She
yeah,
is.
she's really, really good. Well, that's I mean, we could talk for another hour about Footloose, frankly. We really
It's
could.
just great. But
Now,
yeah,
do you want to do one more? I mean, after that, I'll probably have to
it
call
is
it.
it is 3 hours. I think we should
We'll call it now.
yeah, let's call it now.
Let's cut back
Um,
to that shot of a pie.
I know, and look at all the spoons around it. Like, you just want to grab one of those and just scoop up a spoonful of pie.
I mean, I remember this is a good one to end on.
Yes.
I really love this movie. I really wish Chris Penn's life had taken a different direction. I think he died of a heart attack.
Hmm.
And because I mean, he was incredibly talented.
Oh, yes.
Look how young Sarah Jessica Parker is there, pre-plastic. I mean, I had a massive crush on the character of Rusty in this film
Hmm.
when I saw the movie.
Hmm.
But yeah, I miss Chris Penn being on our
Look at that stunt.
screens.
Who's doing that? That's crazy.
Yeah, that would have been Stunt Brat if she could have doubled. But I just feel we would definitely, we were definitely robbed of a lot more top quality. We would have seen a lot more from Chris Penn if he'd sadly hadn't passed away so young. It's a
Yeah.
shame.
Yeah.
But what a great film to end on, though. Fantastic.
Yes, and even Stuntrat says scary stunt. Yeah, that looks terrifying. And then there's a huge truck in the background coming closer. Oh no! I remember just like being very, very afraid for the actress at that point. And I guess when I first saw it, I didn't realize that they had actual professional people there. But also, and I still feel scared for those people as well, because bad things do happen there. But yes,
Unfortunately, they do.
yeah, but just to keep it fun, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. This is one heck of a show. Lance, do you have anything that you want to let us know that is coming up for you?
I do. I have a couple. I actually have I hope my voice is going to get better because I've got
Oh gosh.
I've got quite a few things. So I've got this I'm doing this new show called the Nielsen Ratings, which is going to be on Tuesday nights at 10 o'clock UK time, 5 p.m. East Coast.
Okay.
The first one of those is going to be on Tuesday. It's kind of replacing what was my weekly roundup. I'm going to, which was originally on Wednesday. I'm going to do it Tuesday nights, 10 o'clock. The first one is coming up, as I said, and I've got a little poster. There we go. Yeah, that's not me. That's not me. That's Joking Felix. So there's me behind the logo. Yeah, I suddenly came up with the name, the Nielsen Ratings, and I thought that's kind of cool.
Yeah, you did that right on the channel. In fact,
I think I did it here.
I think we gave it to you.
Retro inspires me always. So that's on Tuesday night, but I've got not one but two streams before that now. One of them's supposed to be on Sunday, and that's supposed to be a stream about Mr. In Between, which is one of the best TV shows that most people haven't seen. I'll just see if I've got the poster for it here. I'll see if I've got it. It's basically about a sort of low-level criminal, but he's got a daughter. He's got a moral compass that most people would agree with, but he's also prone to extreme outbursts of violence.
Oh wow!
But it's dark, but it's so good. It's a really, really good show, and I'm doing a mega stream about Mr. In Between. I'm supposed to be doing it Sunday night now. However, the memorial for Anna Scher, that's one of my old drama coaches who coached Daniel Kaluuya, Sharon Duncan Brewster from June, among others, is going to be on Sunday, and I think my voice might be screwed. So I think the Mr. In Between stream is going to go back a week. But on Monday night, we're doing a special stream on Banshee, which is another amazing show that most people haven't seen, which kicked off the career of, oh my God, the name of the actor's gone out my head. It's the guy who's in the dark superheroes thing based on the comic book The Boys. He plays the sort of Captain America character, Anthony Starr.
Oh, okay.
So Anthony Starr plays a criminal who happens to be in a bar when these two guys come in to muscle the bar owner. The new sheriff has just arrived in the town of Banshee, and he's having a meal in the bar. A fight breaks out. The sheriff ends up getting killed, and Anthony Starr decides to assume his identity because he's come to the town of Banshee because the love of his life is there, and she started a new life, and he kind of feels she's betrayed him. But what makes the show really interesting is that it's set in a town that's mixed with the Amish community, and the head gangster of the town is someone who's left the Amish. So he's an ex-Amish guy played by this wonderful Scandinavian actor who's called Mr. Proctor. It's just a fantastic show. All the characters in it are amazing. There's a really cool trans character in it that's sort of just happens to be trans, and it's just a fantastic character. It's a very adult show. It's very violent.
Now, what's the name of the show again?
The name of the show is named after the town, which is Banshee. I've actually got the Blu-ray box set of it right here. Just let me grab it and I'll hold it up to the screen. Hang on, I'll put a baseball cap on, otherwise people won't recognize me. And just put my camera on briefly. And sorry for being off camera, guys, but I'm feeling proper ill, so I was coughing like loads. So this is the Banshee box set. There's actually 4.
Wow.
I'm rewatching it, so one of them's out of the box right now. They've got these really cool sort of retro covers, which you'd really like. Retro, see these?
Oh yeah, like from the 1940s and 50s.
Yeah, really cool. It's an amazing show. It's a very adult show, so not one to watch with the kids, but really, really good.
Send them out of the room. Get out. I'm
So
watching fancies.
I may or may not be doing Mr. In Between on Sunday night. If I don't do that Sunday night, that'll be in a week or two's time. And then I'm doing Banshee Monday, and then the Nielsen ratings on Tuesday, and that'll be every Tuesday. And then after that, I'm waiting for people's schedules to free them up. There's about 4 guests I'm trying to get on this side of Christmas. It's getting a bit tight now, but
Okay.
but I had a fantastic response to the interviews we did the other week. We had actor director Sean Cronin come on. He was incredible, fun, just a force of nature, and that interview's had like nearly 5,000 views already.
Oh yeah, it's wonderful. Guys, you have to go over there to Lance's channel to see this wonderful interview he did a few days ago.
I'm
Do
4
you have
subscribers away from 2,500. 4 subs
do
away from
do you have a
2,500.
link for that video?
Yeah, I can let me grab that right now. It's under the industry interviews section on the channel, but let me get it and I'll.
If you have a link, since we're talking about it, you
Yeah.
can direct them directly to it. I watched it. I don't know anything about the man, but it was such a fantastic behind the curtain look.
I mean,
It was great. It was really great.
Sean is a force of nature, and but he's I mean, I love him to bits, and he gets things done, which is
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really important, and I think the way you marketed it was industry, like is an industry interview. It is definitely about the industry, film industry, indie film industry type stuff. You guys drop some heavy names, but at the same time, there's an exploration as to what actually happens when you decide to make a movie. You know, all those things, and also talked about his journey as an
and
actor and as a stunt person and a filmmaker. It was great, so good, so
I mean,
juicy.
even though I'm quite happy. Look, if Kevin Bacon wants to come and do an interview on my channel, of course, I would love to have him on. But I'm also interested in doing streams about people who their day job is being extras or background artists, as they prefer to be called. I'm
Hmm.
also planning on interviewing a caterer, who is the most important person on the set, as any crew member will
I
tell
would
you,
love to see that. Yes.
because the food on set is what keeps people going. If
Hmm.
if people have a bad lunch in the afternoon, you're going to know about it. So um, so and then I've also
I
got.
had a bad lunch.
Well, because then people won't work hard.
Yeah,
The morale of the crew will suffer, and that's
yeah.
so. Because time is everything on a set, and you want people to be happy, and then if they're happy, they work hard. And I've got lots of indie filmmaker friends who I'm going to continue to support. Simon Cox is a science fiction filmmaker who did Planet Invasion Earth, which I was a tank commander in.
Oh,
And he's got his new film coming out, which is actually 2 movies, the insane man that he is, called Of Infinite Worlds. And I'm supposed to have a cameo in that film.
oh, that sounds
Um,
like fun.
but Sean, who I interviewed, I forgot to talk to him about it. He had a cameo as a villain controlling a spaceship, and I keep teasing Simon and saying, "Can my guy be the guy that blows up Sean?" And he
Oh
said,
no.
"No, I think you're going to be the guy who Sean blows up."
Oh
And I'm like,
no.
"Oh, okay, whatever." But that, as long as I'm in it, hopefully I got to drive a tank in his last movie, and this one I'll get to pilot a spaceship and fire phasers, this kind of thing. So it should be a lot of fun, but we'll see.
Oh,
But Simon will
before
be
he goes, let me just say good night to William. Great to see you, William, today. Thanks for everything. You're amazing. And we'll see you again real soon.
Yeah, chat's been fantastic, and it's
Yes,
really
absolutely.
kind. Yeah, thanks, and thanks for the nice comments. Been a few nice comments in there directed
Yeah.
at me personally. I saw those, greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Okay. Let me see. Is uh so, oh, you put it in the chat. Okay, I was hoping that you were gonna put it in the chat, but I'll put it in the chat. Hold on. This link you sent me, that's the that's for the interview that you did, right?
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, because I literally just closed the stream. I always have the stream open, but as we were kind of done, I just closed it. So yeah, I put it in the private chat. That's the Sean Cronin interview.
Okay. Here, I'll put it in there, and there we go.
So, a small other piece of news, by the way. I can't say anything more about it than this. I've just also been hired to write a script for a movie.
Oh, wonderful.
Can't tell you anything else. That's all I can say.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. I'm completely forbidden from saying anything further. Who, why, what, when. But you'll find out more about it next year.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
I was just about to hire you to write a script for my movie, but
well,
you're booked.
I can. No. I can do. I'm doing a couple at the minute, so I can do that. I can do that.
She's amazing. See, okay. So is that your lineup for this week?
Yeah, that's me done. Thank you for indulging.
Yes, yes. So just to let you guys know that you definitely should check out Lance's channel. That link in the description is of his last interview. Check it out. While you're there, go ahead and subscribe. He's got a lot of really great stuff. He has wonderful industry interviews that he has already done, quite a few that are in his membership section. So if you have the opportunity to chime and a little extra to give, definitely going ahead and become a member on his channel. It would help him out a lot. He's a wonderful growing channel. That channel is going to take off really. I can see it. I can see it. And let's see. Unicorn says, "Good for you, Lance. Your secret is safe with us." Yes, we won't tell anybody. We'll keep it nice and cozy secret for you. Also, I wanted to let you guys know about stuff that's coming up on this channel. So if you are watching right now and you haven't liked the video, please do hit the like button. And while you're at it, go ahead and subscribe, and because there's more stuff coming on the way. Now, what is that stuff? Well, I redid my schedule this weekend, so we've got let's see, tomorrow we have a Miracle on 34th Street watch party, guys. This was the one that was done in 1947. It will be so much fun seeing little Natalie Wood just be so amazing on screen, and just adore this version of the telling of the tale. It's really great. There are very many versions out there, but this is my favorite. Uh, on uh, on Sunday, Patreon members should be getting a nice little announcement, possibly a video or so. I do that every Sunday. On Monday, members of the channel, please look out for a video. I do have a brand new movie that I saw, and I want to let you guys know all about it. Let's see, on Wednesday next week, that will be the 29th. I'm going to be looking at the movie Leo that is now going to be that is being released on Netflix. I think it's already been released. Like, let's see, was it yesterday or the day before? It was released on Wednesday, and so I will be watching that movie and letting you guys know what it is. And that will be for my Wednesday Modern Take mornings, where I talk about more modern things and more modern headlines as well. On that Friday, I will be going on and to do another feel good movies um, section with you guys, and I'm not sure. I guess we're going to go through with those trilogy stories. Lance, are you there? I guess he's still not there yet. We'll ask him if he's still going to do those trilogy with us. But we have one more feel good movie. Maybe there's another one too. But we're gonna get close to Christmas, and I really want to dive deep into Christmas movies and Christmas music. So we'll have
Hello.
two different. Hello. The
Sorry,
question.
I was indisposed.
Okay, well, the question I have for you is, we discussed having doing trilogies that we love. Now,
Mm.
do you still want to go through with that next week?
I can't do next Friday.
Okay,
I
so
can do. I can do. I think I can do the Friday after. Oh, hang on. Wait a
uh,
minute.
December
Wait.
8th.
Wait. No, no, no. Hold on. Hold on. I think that might be my dancing night.
Uh-oh, there's
So
dance.
is today the 24th?
Yes, it is.
Right. So yeah, definitely can't do next Friday.
Okay.
Um, can we do that? Can we make it a sort of? Why don't we do it on? Is December the 15th too close to Christmas?
Let's see. The 7th, well, yeah, I actually do have something set up that day.
Okay.
I want to do holiday music retro discussion about different.
That sounds like a good stream.
Yeah, that
Um,
one. And which you're invited to come along, and then following that Friday, I'm doing holiday movies to kind of corner off the holidays.
don't forget you've got the YouTube movie quiz
Yes,
that
guys.
weekend,
Um.
Sunday the 17th of December, 9 p.m. UK
Yeah.
time. Two teams will battle it out over film and TV trivia knowledge to prove who is the best, with Retro helping me keep score.
Yes, I don't know how good I will be, but uh, this will be fun.
You're
I'll
going to be amazing.
Oh, well, thank you for the confidence. Let's see. I'm going to make sure I have this in my schedule here. It's in one of my other schedules, but I just did a new schedule. Um, so Lance's Christmas event. And it should be fun because Lance does this every year, right, Lance?
Well, this is my first YouTube one, but I do it at my house with a group of friends in two teams. I've been doing it every year since 1998.
Oh, wow.
19,
That's a
1998,
tradition.
1998 was the first one. And
Wow.
I'm glad everybody's getting the flu in London now, because there
Okay.
was one year where the flu broke out, because it's normally always the first Saturday or Sunday of December is when I do my quiz.
Uh-huh.
And one year I had like 8 people cancel on the day, and
Wow.
we had literally 2 people on one side and 1 person on the other. And then somebody turned up later, but I mean, man, I had all this food prepared, and it was horrible.
Oh, I
So,
can see. I can.
but they had a great time.
Yeah. And Stuntbread says, "Fun. I love trivia." So yeah, you're gonna. You should. This should be fun for everyone. I
And the
can't wait. I
and the
can't wait.
chat can take part. The chat can take part. The chat's the third team.
Yes.
All will be explained on the day.
Yes. Lance has a wonderful system that he's developing, and or he has developed, and so I will play it by ear once we get there, and we're in good hands, I believe. And so just to we're gonna do that. I'll figure out what to do with the feel good movies. I may can just continue, and we'll talk, Lance, you and I. Behind
Yeah.
closed doors, and figure out when the next time you can join us.
We could
And
probably do the trilogy one, because I think you and I talked about doing a stream in that weird period between Christmas and New Year where everybody loses track of what day it is and what they're doing.
Maybe.
27th, 28th, 27th, 28th, and 29th of December. So
Uh, okay, yeah, we'll discuss that a little bit later. Just so that way I can keep going. So we do have the the watch parties on Saturday. So the lineup
mm,
so far with my watch parties, tomorrow the 25th, definitely Miracle on 34th Street. The next one will be December 2nd, Gremlins 1984. And after that, we're doing Gojira 1954. I think, and the reason why I say I think is because the link I had before is suddenly unavailable. I had a wonderful link for it, and then it went away. So I'm gonna look around and see if I can find the proper edition of it. And I really wanted the 1954 version, the Japanese subtitles, so that way we could get that education.
Which movie's that?
That is Gojira. It's the original Godzilla movie, 1954 Japanese, the
That's the
Japanese version.
that's the black and white one with the monsters in the water tank with guys in suits.
I guess yeah, I guess you
Yeah.
want to say that's
No,
the
I
one.
mean, but I've seen it. It's a great film. I used to love all those. They used to show them on Sunday afternoons
Oh
in
yeah,
the
yeah,
80s in the UK, and I'd eat all
yeah.
that stuff up just like Flash Gordon and Buck
Oh yeah,
Rogers.
of
And
course, of course. And
yeah.
so I know that the original Godzilla that was done in the US was sort of a remake, or they patched together scenes with an American actor uh, for American audiences. And Gojira is the original Japanese version, or Japanese language one that is supposed to be much more serious and has more political statements to say in the storyline. So I can't wait to see that.
Wow,
And I,
that's interesting.
yeah, and
I never knew it was cut that way for the West. So the version I saw, yeah, I distinctly remember that. Isn't there like some American actors, one with a white lab coat on in a room, going, "We've got to do this, we've got to do that. We let's try this."
precisely,
Yeah,
precisely.
okay, yeah.
The guy who played, I forgot his name, but he played Perry Mason later on in his career, and he plays the lead in the American version, 1956. So, yeah, it is something I'm working on. That might change, so don't hold me to it 100% because I need to find a copy of it. It's really becoming a very difficult chore here for me to find the actual thing, but I'll hopefully I will find the correct version.
That was
And then
Raymond Burr who played Perry Mason.
Raymond Burr,
Yeah.
exactly. And now on the 16th, I will be watching the It's a Wonderful Life just in time for
Ah,
Christmas,
so
1946.
good.
Yeah, that was such a good movie, and so I'm so glad to be able to do that. And then on the to close out the season, we're gonna watch A Christmas Story, 1983, on the 23rd of December. So that is the lineup of watch parties and events that are happening. Lots of stuff is happening on the channel, so please tune in for that. Let's see. Somebody says, I almost named my oldest daughter Natalie after Natalie Wood. Instead, her middle name is Candace after Candace Bergen. Oh my God.
Also a good choice.
Yes. Oh, and Jonathan Earl is here and says Raymond Burr. Yes, thank you. Yes, what a great, uh, you know, I think it's one of those things like film is just like an endless amount of trivia, and so like and information that you just never knew about things, and we discover stuff all the time about all of these movies that we love or that we care about. And so, yeah, that's just one of the reasons why I love my channel. And I love talking with you guys. You guys are super smart and have so much information to share. Now, I think this is going to close us out. Any last words? Any famous last words, Lance, from you?
Why do you say that when I just put loads of crisps in my mouth? No, that's it from me.
Okay, I don't know. We don't have no idea what you just said.
I said, why did you ask me that question when I've just stuffed loads of what you would call potato chips in my mouth? Because I thought, oh, that's it. She's done now. I don't have to say anything. So I took a big
Well,
handful,
I can't
shoved them in my
see
mouth,
you.
and then you're like, Lance, any last word? Oh,
Well, I definitely can't see you, so I don't know that you did that.
Thanks for the mutual support, and I love coming on the channel, so really appreciate you having me back. Thank you very much.
Yes, it was a pleasure, and you're such a wonderful addition. So glad that you accepted the invitation, and that even in spite of being sick today, so we all hope that you feel better soon, so you can just absolutely knock it out of the ballpark with your other streams and things that you're planning. Um, and also, guys, I do have a small 3-minute video in which you can leave your last words and comments. That will be awesome. Let's see if I'm gonna miss anything. Okay. Yeah. Perfect. And so, uh, without further ado, I bid you adieu, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Retro Nerd Girl, you are clear for takeoff.